up there in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a tagline. I'm assuming we have those at least.
Yeah, and that might have been better than the actual taglines. No, these ones are actually pretty interesting. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, number 1.
You gotta be.
If the world's most powerful computer can control even Superman, no one on Earth is safe.
That's not what happens in the movie.
Nope.
I was like, no.
It doesn't control Superman at all.
The computer makes an appearance for 10 minutes or less.
Yep.
2. Okay. Hit me up with number 2.
Okay. Alexander Salkind presents Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor as you've never seen them before, with more action, more twists, and more fun than Superman has ever had before.
But you have seen Christopher Reeve before. Twice as Superman, so it's like yes, but not together, I guess.
And actually both times better.
Yeah.
And maybe, yeah. And then the one after this actually could be possibly considered better than this as well.
Probably is.
Okay. And I've seen Richard Pryor like this before. Just funny.
Yeah. Well, that's what he's known for.
All right. This time is going to be the best time of all.
That's a tagline for a Christmas movie.
Yeah. But it's also, I mean,
it's just...
It has no context.
It really doesn't.
So it's like the best time of all for what? Like one of the extras on the film that never worked again?
It's not even one of the ones where like he adjusts time by running around the Earth backwards.
It's actually, I think, the only one where he doesn't adjust time. And then the world's superhero in his toughest adventure yet.
But he's not the world's superhero because those coal miners were like, we don't know who Superman is.
Yeah, I've never seen this guy before in my life.
So, okay, live it.
And then, last but not least, Superman versus the king of computerized crime.
No.
No, definitely not.
No.
With a budget of $39 million estimated and a gross in the USA of $59.9 million, with one frozen flying lake, one bowling strike by explosion, one feuding walk don't walk light, one sky slope on a skyscraper, one leaning tower of Pisa fixed, one Superman versus Clark Kent brawl, one Atari 26,000 supercomputer, one invisible shield plastic bubble, and one supercomputer human hybrid with a 4.9 on IMDb, a 42 Metacritic score, and a 25% rotten. It's 1983's Superman 3. Let's drop some bombs.
We're missing one killer party.
You're very pretty. My name isn't pretty. It's Barbarella.
Sniffler with a tail. This is the omen with whiskers. Nostradamus didn't see this thing coming.
Oh, hey, man.
That's only his last name. He likes to be called Superman.
It's not who you go with, honey. It's who takes you home. I'll see you at the prom.
Let's drop some lead on those motherfuckers.
Welcome to Bombs Away, the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me in the studio, as always, is...
the slightly darker evil version, Jared Seifert.
Of me?
Of myself.
Oh.
Of myself. Just me.
I'm like, I mean, either way it works.
Someone turned down my contrast, and now I'm evil.
I like maroon, not bright red, so that's
it looks
evil.
just like the Henry Cavill Superman outfit.
Okay,
which I think
yeah.
I've like seen before, like on IO9, which is like a tech blog site. It basically is like all nerd news, and they talk about like all the nerd movies right now as well. And so they were talking about the new Superman, and I believe they brought up that like, oh, in Superman 3, he's wearing almost an identical costume because it's that like dark maroon.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it could have just been like, well, look, inspiration.
Yeah,
like a stupid article.
Yeah, but this would be before that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just okay. There's a lot to sink into in this film, and before we get into the negatives, which there are a hell of a lot. This is now. I said it while we were starting up today. I said this is now arguably for me probably one of the worst films that we've done. Like, I am bored to tears watching this film. It is.
I coughed directly into the microphone. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just talking over it. Hopefully you'll get past it. It's good.
I'm all good. I'm fine.
Yeah, okay.
That's the saying of the day.
This film is awful.
I thought it had some things in it, but I did not like everything.
Some things in it, like people and a plot of some sort.
It had...
and unemployment. And...
It had a lot of things that confused me.
Right. Yeah. So, I picked this film. We were supposed to do Barbarella from 68 of this week. And unfortunately, we had a person pass along.
Yeah.
Into the ether. So, I decided, due to Margot Kidder passing, that we would kind of... I don't know, call an audible, right? And so I announced on the message boards, I said, we're going to do Superman 3, because arguably it might be her worst film. So, like, we needed to find something in which, something to celebrate Margot's life, but at the same time fits our format. Right?
So no one on that message board was like, hey, just a heads up, she's in this film for all of 30 seconds.
I know, right? Thanks, guys. Right? Like, nobody, not a single person
God
was like,
bless America.
Right? We just got a couple likes, and, like, that's it.
Majority of the likes were from my mom.
Yeah, always. But, yeah, nobody warned us saying, hey, you might want to do part 4, because I think she's in it more than this. So, as we celebrate Margot's life today on the podcast and her career, we do want to say that there's some history behind this film and her lack of scenes in it. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to the studio firing Richard Donner from the sequel, Superman 2.
Yes.
So they fired Richard Donner and brought on the director of this film to complete Superman 2, which is Jerry Siegel, or Siegel. Siegel, I'm going to say.
It's Siegel.
Is it Siegel?
It's German. It's Siegel, which means you pronounce the E since it's after the I. So it's Siegel.
It. Okay. I mean, not Siegel. That's the writer. I'm sorry.
That is the writer. Yeah. Director is Richard Lester.
Richard Lester, who... before this is famous for the two first Beatles movies, Hard Day's Night and Help, which I love Help. Help is
Help is
great...
always appreciated.
Thanks. So they brought on Richard Lester to complete Superman 2, and everybody hated that they fired Richard Donner.
Jerry Siegel was the guy that created Superman.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. I got messed up.
My gears are so slow. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
Wait a minute. I've heard this.
Really?
Was it also co-directed by Schuster? Yeah, we're like nerds that are horrible at our job. But so famously, Margot Kidder and a whole bunch of other people were so angry at them firing Donner that they refused to return for a while to this film, Superman 3.
Yes.
And then even when they did agree to return, Margot was so vocal about their decision that they were like, okay, bitch, like 12 lines.
Yeah.
Here you go. She's in what, 2 scenes? She's in 2 scenes.
She's like, I'm going to I almost called it Caboon.
Cabo?
I don't think she went to Cabo. I thought she went to Cancun.
No, it was Malibu, right?
No, I thought she went somewhere tropical.
Oh.
Did we watch a movie? I don't think we actually watched it.
No.
Yeah.
So
she's pretty though.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, so I think what would you say her most famous role is for you?
Superman.
Superman?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right? And that's why
she was in Amityville Horror.
Right. So she was in Amityville Horror, and she was in the original Black Christmas, and 2 films we wouldn't
Medea's
touch.
Black Christmas, right?
Yes.
That's it. That's the joke of the show. You can all go home now.
But yeah, no, arguably that, yeah. But Lois Lane is what I'd say most people remember her for.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And she had some problems in her later life that also kind of haunted her, unfortunately, which she kind of had a nervous breakdown.
Oh,
I
had one of those today. It's fine. It's really okay.
Where somebody found her like barefoot in like a gown in their backyard, just a random.
Oh, I just started pacing
something.
at work. That wasn't.
Yeah,
that was
wasn't
extreme. No, that was fine. I was like, oh, cramp.
And that's what's unfortunate too is like some things like that will haunt you forever because like that's the joke that I remember Family Guy doing, where like Margot Kidder like just literally comes in and like bashes up Peter's house and stuff, and it's just crazy like going all over the place. But apparently that only happened to her once, and she was like on medication or wasn't on it at that time, and then never had another episode like that.
Yeah, but I mean like. What are like all famous female artists out there? Like they're mostly known for their breakdowns because it's like, ooh, they went crazy.
I know, right?
Like Britney Spears,
right?
I know her for her music because I'm gay, but everyone else is like, she went crazy.
I
or
know,
like Lindsay
I know her
Lohan.
for her music too. So
Lindsay Lohan, Mean Girls, but she went crazy.
Yeah,
didn't she? No,
well,
she just turned into a party girl.
Into trouble with the law and
Amanda
like
Bynes. You know, I know her as being herself.
Yeah, she did stuff, right?
I don't know.
Was that
but she did go crazy.
Was
but
that
I think
it?
people are always gonna.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna remember Amanda Bynes because of her tweet to Drake when she was losing it. She was like, "What did she say? Oh, she said something like wreck this puss." And that's what did it for that guy.
Love it. Yeah. So yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing about Hollywood and the media and things like that is like she had a great career, a career that like led all the way up to 2017. So last year, she was still doing things, and things like what we discussed that happened to her in her personal life just haunted her for the rest of her career.
That sucks.
Because I don't see anything on this list that like you go, oh yes, that, you know, and that's unfortunate because I think that she was extremely talented.
Yeah.
And so I did some additional research while doing this film. I actually watched the first 2 just to prepare.
God, I did not want to.
I did it. I did it for you.
Oh, good.
Right?
Thank God.
No, I wasn't gonna force you. Okay, so
I probably should.
This is our second film. This is the second episode that we've done in which we did not do the previous movies
First
in the
one
series.
was Caravan of Courage.
No, well, okay. Then this would be the third.
Doesn't it count?
It does
See?
count.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm paying attention.
Then this
Rage
would be
2.
the third. Yeah, Rage.
Were all 3 of those in a row? No, there was a movie or 2 between Caravan and the Rage.
You've already forgotten.
What was between the Rage and
No Holds Barred?
Oh,
yeah.
So
this is our third one of. So we're finally like kind of branching out and saying like, okay, we want to do certain sequels that are horrible without having to touch the original, but I wanted to catch people up to speed. Okay, so are you ready?
You better do it in less than a minute.
Well, a minute per movie. How about that?
All right, ready, go.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip like the basic general knowledge of Superman.
Time.
Shut up. I'm gonna skip the basic general like knowledge. So basically, Superman, we know who he is. It's Kal-El. He's from the planet Krypton. And but what is important that they showed is that his father sentenced 3 other Kryptonians, which is General Zod and things like that, if people know, into the Phantom Zone. And then Superman grows up and then becomes Clark Kent, a reporter for Daily Planet. And then the movie goes on for like an hour with like nothing happening, no Superman, nothing.
Good.
Until yeah, it's awesome. Until Lois Lane falls out of a helicopter and Superman catches her and the helicopter, and then it's like, oh, he's there. And so the whole movie is like Lois trying to figure out if Clark is Superman, and then doesn't quite figure it out, but falls for Superman.
So, okay, listen, gonna cut you off. If we had Reddit during the time of this movie, you can guarantee that people on Reddit would have been like, Superman's whereabouts. Oh, that guy disappears every time Superman shows up. Hey, Clark Kent. That's like, Reddit is full of like internet sleuths.
Right.
They would be able to piece everything together and find out his identity ASAP.
Oh, you mean if this was real life?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They could probably do that with any superhero these days. They'd be like, well, this kid keeps missing school
Well, that's what
in Queens.
and that's what I wanted to bring up
Spider-Man.
to this, right? And this is why it was important for me to go through this, is that like, so that film, Lex Luthor, his idea is that he wants to own beachfront property, like all of the beachfront property. So he decides to launch like 2 nukes and one of them is to land around Nevada, and Nevada will be the new beachfront property as all of California just sinks into the ocean.
That is not how things work.
Yeah, right. So basically, he bought all the land in Nevada right around where it will crack, right?
Oh, the San Andreas Fault. Got it. I remember reading a synopsis.
Yeah. And during that, Lois happens to be in Nevada too, falls through the cracks, suffocates in her car, and so Superman decides to spin the Earth backwards and reverse time. Okay?
Not how time works.
Nope. But that's the first movie, right? Second movie, General Zod actually gets freed from the Phantom Zone and lands on Earth and tries to take over. Superman, for some reason, is forced to make a decision of be Superman or be in love with Lois Lane, so he must actually give up his powers, which means he then can't fight the other Superman people that are just landed. But then it doesn't matter because
Kryptonians, not other Superman people. Kryptonians.
I just mean because they're not.
No, you just got scolded by someone that's never
I
even
know
watched.
they're
the
not
movies.
super powered until they come to Earth.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
Well, because
they're
on
now
their planet,
Supermen.
they're normal.
Right.
Like those activities are normal on their
Right.
planet.
Well, no, they
Aren't
don't.
they?
They can't do those activities.
What the fuck is oxygen doing to them?
Like, it's not oxygen, it's the sun. It's our yellow sun. They absorb our sun, and then they are able to have those additional powers. So basically, from what my limited knowledge, it seems that they've always possessed the ability to do that if it wasn't for the fact of like their planet and their like
They're white
Kryptonite.
dwarf. What kind of planet or what star are they?
Kryptonite, and they have a red sun.
Red sun. There it is.
Yeah. So like
A red giant.
yeah, those things dwarf those abilities, I guess, or
Okay.
something. So because they seem
Is the
to
sun made of the kryptonite, and that's why they can't do it? No, because red kryptonite does something where it brings out something.
So, and that's what this movie covers too. This is supposed to be one of 2 synthetic kryptonites, red and black,
Yeah.
right? And we'll get to that.
And those were only featured in Smallville, the television show.
Right. But either way, Superman gets his powers back because there's, of course, a loophole where, like, basically the Fortress of Solitude is like, I knew that you would make the bad decision, so I have this backup plan, you know? Like, but now it means that I can no longer, like,
Fortress of
appear to
Safety
you
Net.
as your father.
Jeez.
Yeah, Fortress of Safety Net. And then all of that happens, and he has to reverse time again,
Huh.
right?
Jesus.
Right. He just keeps reversing time. So, like, nothing matters. And then, so the reason he seems to reverse time is because Lois actually does figure out who he is. Because she looks at a photo of him in the newspaper and then decides to draw glasses on it and, like, a fedora, like his, Clark Kent persona, and then draws a suit over top of his Superman costume. And is like,
So she was like
"It's
doodling
you!"
on the newspaper and was like, oh shit, my boyfriend's great.
Right.
But also, like, why would he be like, I can't tell her?
Right.
Like, just accept it and
Yeah.
then get that super D.
Yeah, there's some weird, stupid rule in that movie where it's like I can't be Superman and be in love or have anybody know.
Well, love is the same thing as a red star. So you just can't. It would take his powers away.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we have this movie.
Yes.
So
And this one starts out with slapstick, slapstick, slapstick.
You ready to dive in?
Yeah.
All right.
So set the scene. New York Street. Here we go. Our
no.
intro credits blur half of the movie.
So first,
there we go.
First we have an unemployment scene that
the unemployment scene
just establishes that it's 1983.
Unemployment,
and
more like it.
Unemployment, lazy eyes and all.
Yeah.
So Richard Pryor, who is named Gus Gorman. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Gus.
Augustus Gorman, but he goes by Gus.
Augustus.
He's trying to get another job from the unemployment agency, and they're like, okay.
He's been on unemployment for 36 months.
I thought it was weeks.
Oh, was it weeks?
I thought it was weeks.
Oh, I thought it was months. I was like,
weeks.
Jesus.
I think it's weeks. Let's
Okay.
go with weeks. It sounds more reasonable.
Yeah, doesn't sound as racist as this scene makes it out to be. Because there's like all black people and like 2 white people.
Yeah.
And one of the 2 white people is the person behind the counter.
Right? And so he, though, is like, you got to give me a job because, like, this is what you're here to do. But
Right.
they were like, all right, what about your first job when you were a delivery guy and you got fired after a day? And he was like, I told you the package was lost.
Right.
I couldn't find it. It got stolen or something like that. I got to remember.
It's just so stupid, these like excuses, but you're just like, I don't care, just get to it. Like, is this how we're opening our Superman movie?
His character biography on Wikipedia was just like, he's a ne'er-do-good. And it was like supposed to be like whenever people like say never, but like abbreviate the V. So it's like N-E apostrophe E-R. He's like, he's a ne'er-do-good. I was like, that's not a thing. But then
stupid.
In the movie, they're talking about Superman. They're like, he's a do-gooder. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
Is he, though?
No, he's not. Because
Like,
he ruins
I don't
everything.
understand what he is.
He's
Because
a
apparently
person.
he's a, what was it?
Kryptonian.
He was a dishwasher before this.
Oh, we're talking about Richard Pryor now.
Oh.
Yes. Wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about Gus.
Okay, I was talking about Superman.
Oh.
Superman's a do-gooder.
Right.
Richard Pryor's the never-do-gooder.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
He just messes up all the time.
Yeah.
Never do right. That could have been it.
Right. So basically, they're like, no more pay. You're not getting any more pay.
So listen.
What?
Okay, watch this. On a podcast, watch this.
Yeah.
Um,
Guys, open your eyes.
yes.
We're about to hit you with something.
eyes wide open.
Look out for that car.
We're driving and podcasting. Sorry. So he also says, like, they're like, what about the job that you got fired at 20 minutes into? And he was like, I was taking food orders at a fast food restaurant and I couldn't remember, like, no pickle, no lettuce, no ketchup, extra ketchup. It was too confusing and they expected me to learn it so quick. So he doesn't know how to do fast food service.
Which you just take the order and you push the buttons.
But it also was 83. It could have been different. But listen to
Burger
this.
King's Burger King.
So, Richard Pryor, the lady's like, rules are rules. Can't give you any more because
Right.
you've been unemployed for too long. And as he's walking out, it looks like he has a gun. Like, it literally, like, he keeps, like, putting his hand, like, in a back pocket and then,
Right.
like, shifting around. But he, like, picks up, or he pulls out a cigarette. He doesn't have a lighter. So he turns to the guy and he's like, hey, you got a light? And the guy's like, yeah. And he hands him a matchbook. And it's like, free computer coding classes or something. And he's like, okay. Turns out he's a super genius in computer coding,
But he's
can't
not.
do McDonald's.
Right. This is what confuses me is that I feel he got all his training from this computer class?
Yeah.
Or like I feel like he didn't, or else he would have got a job already. He didn't know anything.
He didn't know anything about computers.
Right. And
'Cause
then
then the guy-
a scene or two
Yeah.
later, they're like the computer class guy is like they
You
ask
can't
about
do
some
two
sort
points
of
at once or something.
some sort of line of code or something, and then he goes over to him and he's like, excuse me, I did it, and he's like, how'd you do that? And he's like, I don't know.
And like he literally doesn't
He
even
doesn't
know
know.
what he's doing on the computer. But also, apparently on computers here, like, because it comes up in a later scene for computers, like computer coding is usually like / dot this stuff. That was just
Right.
HTML,
Right.
like weird shit. .ex. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
That's just a program, but
I was
yeah.
like, but he
3.5-inch floppy.
he just like types like control computer and the computer's like, you got it, and then he's like,
You got it.
make me have a lot of money. But based off of my knowledge of C++ that I failed in college, which is just computer programming language, which at the start they were like, it's just like a foreign language you just have to learn. It's not a foreign language. It's creepy and weird. I don't understand it. But I failed that class. But I also know that that's not how computer programming works.
No.
And I can guarantee that's not how it worked in 1983. 84. 83? 84.
This is 83.
83.
So,
Okay, got it.
made in 82.
Yeah.
You know.
Tomatoes.
So, yeah. And then we're introduced to, like, this slapstick, stupid opening credits. Like, basically, he walks out of the unemployment office and passes by this guy, and then this guy, we start following this guy's path, and he happens to look at a hot chick, and then
Well,
trips.
the hot chick is... what's her butt? And she comes back later.
I can't really... it's Lorelei.
Yeah.
Lorelei, right?
Lorelei.
I thought it might be her, but then
It
again...
is.
Oh,
Wearing
it
the
is.
strawberry dress?
Oh, the
That's her.
cherries?
Or the cherry dress?
Yeah.
I thought that one was a
Oh
strawberry.
my god, the cherry sweater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Lorelei, who is basically like Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors, combined with like Dolly Parton
Audrey, too.
Sue. Seymour.
Somewhere that's green.
Yeah, that's it. Because she has that voice.
Yeah.
Like, but then that voice kind of goes away.
Oh, it goes away completely at the end. And she's like, the computer's malfunctioning. We need to get out of here. Otherwise the hard drive is going to melt and it's going to crash and then we'll be really upset. I'm like, oh, okay, you went with it.
Seymour.
Yeah. Gosh.
His name, that's his last name. His name is Superman. That's what he likes to be
His
called.
first name is Super.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because that's a line.
The starting sequence is basically a Rube Goldberg machine of incidences.
If
like everything makes everything else happen. Like
yeah, there's wind up mechanical penguins that are on fire. Like what?
There's a guy using
that was Batman Returns.
a street painter as a walking dog. Like,
it makes no sense.
it's a terrible open air.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the entire time, we have, like, giant block letters, just like the font of Superman, but they're, like, giant block letters that decide to come in from the bottom frame, smear all over the frame, and then just kind of wipe away.
It's, like, somewhere between, like, the bottom half of the movie and the top third, or the bottom third of the movie.
And they're
somewhere
fighting,
between those
they're
two.
fighting
It's
to
enough
decide.
to cover
They're fighting
so
to
much.
decide if the film should be in focus or not.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
so mad. But actually, that's it. It was in focus. It's just how it looked.
Oh yeah, that's what a stupid. Oh my god, what a stupid thing.
I wish they would have blurred her for everything else.
Okay,
Anywho,
because that was actually
but
my
that'll
next.
bring us to
that's
the
my
Daily
next
Planet.
note.
'Cause
Yeah,
we get to the Daily Planet. We
And-
get angry man that's in charge of newspaper, which
yeah,
is every other trope.
Perry White. Okay, Perry White.
Perry White.
Which is the
Carrie White.
Oh wow. Perry White, which is the main is chief of Daily Planet, is basically asking questions so that Lois and Jimmy Olsen can answer them so that we as an audience can have our
Right.
exposition laid out for us.
And who is this person?
So there's
Why do you have so many
pictures,
pictures of them?
I know, yeah, there's pictures on the board and they're like, who's this? And he's like, that's Ross Webster. Ross Webster is the richest guy in town. Like, and you're like, okay, next. And he's like, this is Sister Lana and this is Lorelei. And like, and you're like, do I need any of this?
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I actually, by the end, I'm like, I still don't.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter. But that's where they do the joke in which you said, where they go, oh, Jimmy, you could have made a better photo. Like, this is all fuzzy. And Lois is like, no, that's just what she looks like,
Right.
basically. And I was like,
Yikes.
what? Like, I think the quote is, the pic is fine. She looks like that in real life. And I go, she looks fuzzy in real life? She looks
my
out of
favorite thing.
focus?
She like you know that scene in Scary Movie 3 where she's looking at Brenda's photographs and she's like, who's this? And it's a guy like with a like that twist face that you can do on like
From the
Mac
Ring.
computers.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's our cousin. And you look over and his face is just like that twist design. And she's like, oh, okay. But also before that, she's looking at the photographs and they're all white. And she goes, they're all blank. She goes,
Right.
flip them over, honey.
So
those always cheer me up.
So, like I said before, Superman 2 reversed time, and Lois doesn't know who Clark is, which they make a slight reference to here because, once again, it's like a day at Daily Planet with Lois and Clark, right? And she's like, he's like, you seem to have like a big story that you can't seem to get out, right? He's like teasing her about the fact that he's like, I took your memory.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that was weird. Yeah.
It's like mental, like, molestation.
Right?
I took your innocence and your memory.
Well, this isn't the only time that Superman's going to get rapey in this film.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It gets weird,
It gets
right?
odd.
It gets super weird when he gets bad. And she's like, hey, are you going to save those people? And he's like, why? I'd like to sit here and...
I always get there in time.
yeah.
I'm fine.
I'll be on time.
So
I'll get there on
chauvinistic.
time, and then I'll get there on time. I know. Right? Faster than a speeding bullet. No.
Sorry. I was like, we both like kind of were like semen.
Yeah. So Clark seems to think that there's a story about him going back to Smallville to go to his high school reunion.
Okay, see, I thought he was just trying to ask for time off to go back to Smallville for his reunion.
I thought so too.
But then the reporter or the photographer,
Jimmy Olsen joins him.
he was cute.
Okay.
He had really good hair.
It was like a little bouffant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buffon.
Yeah, no, he says, Chief, there's a story.
I just want to say I'm really
just
proud of
don't
you
know.
for knowing that word.
Bouffant? Yeah. No, there was a kid in
You
middle
surprised
school
me.
that had that hair, and we called him like Bigwig, like the rabbit.
Big with boof.
Like, well, we were reading Watership Down, and
Oh.
there's that rabbit that has
Yeah.
Bigwig.
But
We
do you know
thought
what a
we were good.
pompadour is?
We're like, haha, we're clever. Huh?
Do you know what a pompadour is?
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Um,
See, you're gayer than you think.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right. Whatever.
Especially because, like, I said, like, off mic, and now I'm going to say it on mic, where, like, you were like, oh, but Superman looked good in this. And I was like, yeah, he did.
You're like, he really did. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
No, you're
it's that
you're,
evil soup.
Yeah, you're secure in your sexuality.
Yeah.
You've got this.
Right?
Yeah, so basically, like, this entire scene was basically establishing, like, where they're going next, but it isn't even establishing, like, the plot of the film.
Right.
And that's the problem with a lot of this film is that, like, the plot isn't something that you can arch through it.
No,
It's
it kind
minor
of just
plots that
drifts.
connect together.
Yeah.
So it's like TV show plots, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
And that does not make a good movie at all.
No.
None.
So, meanwhile, in order to justify the fact that Margot Kidder's not in this movie,
Yeah.
she's also going on a vacation to the Bahamas or wherever, and boom, done. She's written out of the movie.
Yeah.
And so now we're joining Clark and Jimmy on a bus, and that bus gets stopped by a roadblock of police officers who are like, oh my god, this chemical factory is on fire.
I'm sorry.
What?
So the chemical factory is like off to their left, right? And the police officers are blocking the road in front of them.
Yeah, why is anybody blocking the road?
Doesn't pass. It's like you could look to your left and be like, cool, a chemical plant, and keep driving. They
Especially
didn't need to
because-
shut the road down.
Especially because none of them know about the crazy, like, acid
Yeah.
chemical that's in there.
But also, wouldn't you want to, like, move cars out of the way if a chemical building's on fire? Like, everyone get out of here. Not like, everyone stay here. We've got a problem.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's roadblock right in front of the chemical factory.
Hey, can we get more people over here?
Hey, is there a? Do you guys have a Superman on board? We kind of need a Superman.
Hey,
We're stopping cars looking for Superman. Has anybody seen him?
is there a state fair in the area that we can divert parking to so we can put more people in danger? No? Okay, I guess we'll make them slide down a smokestack and immediately get cancer. Yeah, they got cancer, right? Okay, cool. Now what about the extremely explosive liquid? The one in the weird jars, yeah. Yeah, no, it glows red when it's bad. It's glowing red? all right, we'll be there soon. Like, hold on, Superman just flew off to freeze a lake.
Okay.
What is stupid photographers doing something stupid? Who would have thought? Hey, are we almost done on the shoot? Like, literally
That was the
any
scene.
person working that movie would
Yeah.
have just been like, oh, God. Like,
So, the Superman, of course, shows up, and he immediately tries to save the people on the rooftop by ripping a smokestack out of the roof and having them slide down the smokestack. And
ruin
then
their pants or give them some sort of illness
Right.
is what that's going to do.
he goes inside to rescue more people, and he's like, let's get out of here, scientists. And the scientist is like, I can't. I'm monitoring these vials. If they explode...
Temperature.
Right? If they explode, we're all going to hell, you know? And so Superman decides to tell the fire department, and then the fire department is like, no problem. And then immediately they're like, we've lost the pressure!
You want to know the second worst thing I read this week?
What? The credits to this film?
No, that was the first best thing I read this week. The first worst we already talked about. Second worst thing I read this week was that there were two people that were exposed to extreme radiation in Japan, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys passed away. The other one, his DNA was destroyed. So his body couldn't fix or fight anything. And he, like, disintegrated on a hospital bed.
That sounds like a villain's origin. I mean,
I accidentally
right?
saw the photo, and it was literally like someone had all their skin ripped off, and they were melting.
Oh, my God.
It was scary. They kept him
like,
alive.
like the homeless man on the Blob.
Well, no, they should have killed him just to be like, your DNA can't even reproduce. So, like, the second your DNA can't reproduce, like, you start losing blood cells. Like, you can't do anything if
Right.
you can't copy your DNA.
Okay.
So his body was just like, boom.
Okay.
But, like, they should have put him down. But they were like, we're going to keep him alive to see what happens with extreme radiation. Which is so inhumane.
I believe it.
Oh, my God. But that just
How
reminded
does
me
this
of
apply
this.
to Superman 3?
Because it's a radiation plant. Anyway, Superman goes and he's like, man, this is a lot of fire I got to put out. So he freezes a lake.
Okay. First question on Superman's powers.
Ice breath.
I don't remember temperature of breath
Yes.
being a thing. I remember breath, superpowered blowing breath. I don't remember it being frozen. I guess if you could blow it fast enough, I guess the wind
It could be
chill.
cold, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently he goes to a lake that's like 5 miles away,
He's like,
right? And blows and freezes the lake and then picks up that frozen water and flies it 5 miles back.
but picking up the frozen water did not change the level of the lake's water
Nope.
at all. He picks it up and I'm like, you would clearly see a line around this lake, and this is stupid. This is bad editing. I was so mad, but then I was like, it's 1983. Give it up.
Yeah, it's like he took just a sheet of ice.
And
not
it
the
kind of
whole
also
lake.
had dirt on it.
Yeah.
So it was like if you pick up a piece of ice from like a dirty puddle that was in your backyard is what it looked like, but like on a grand scheme.
I want to. Okay, so we live in a world in which people are like, there's Superman doing crazy shit, right? But at what point are you like, honey, that was a piece of frozen flying ice? Like,
Hey, that's a weird cloud. It's not a cloud.
is it a bird or a plane? No, it's Superman. We
Yeah.
know how it goes.
That's that guy again. Hey, how come he's only helping Metropolis in Smallville?
Yeah.
You think he's got a connection to one of those two?
Right.
No? Well, okay.
Well, Smallville's got like a graduating class of like 24
12.
people.
Oh my God.
So we can probably narrow it down.
Did you ever watch Smallville?
No.
Oh, I did, just because not Henry Cavill, Tom Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
God, he was real boner city for me when I was closeted. I was like, give me that beefcake. Holy shit.
Right.
There was an edit.
There was nothing small about Smallville, let me tell you.
No, but there was an edited photo where it was like they basically took his head and put it on a different body that was naked.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, like, I can tell
I
that
mean-
it's edited, but it was really good, like, Photoshop. And, like, middle school me or high school me was, like, locking the door to that one.
You know, there's some
Let me tell
weird,
ya.
there's some weird, where they've done that, but in video fashion.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I panicked.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no.
I was like,
where they're basically
are my favorite
using,
people on it?
like they're using like Adobe Premiere, and the fact that you basically like lock the head on like the frame and just motion track it.
Honestly,
it knows exactly where it's gonna go, and I'm like, this is just, who has this much time? And also, why not just go get a job at doing special effects instead of dedicating it to like fan porn?
My immediate first thought was, ew, it's gonna be some weird person that's into Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, right.
That's only like Benedict Cumberbatch or Justin Bieber, like the two people that they'd be like, we want to masturbate. Ugh, God, they're disgusting.
It's always weird. Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about a movie, I guess.
Frozen Lake.
He like drops it on top of the burning factory, and I thought he was gonna like drop it, but then heat it so it like rained. But he literally was just like, hope it melts. Like threw it down, but then
it wouldn't have melted that.
No,
fast.
it would have literally
just
would have
smashed.
shattered because he wasn't like, I'm 10,000 feet flying altitude, whatever. 30,000 feet is flying altitude.
Well,
I think.
all he had to do was
But,
use heat vision, and it would
That's
have
what
melted.
I thought he did because I initially missed this scene, and then I went back and watched it again.
Right.
And I was like, never mind. I never need to rewatch a scene again in case I miss it because it's
Also,
just gonna look stupid.
I would have loved like if like he was flying and it melted in his hands. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
no, no,
Wow,
no.
wow, 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 wow.
He's
He's like trying to grab it and then slipping out
I'm
of his
out
hands.
of lake. He
God,
just has gone back
Superman.
like 3 times and it keeps happening.
Right?
Ah, man. When he gets there, it's just a piece of ice.
It's an ice cube, and he's like, hope it helps. So his photographer
boys.
during this time,
Jimmy.
cute guy Jimmy.
Jimmy climbed up the ladder of the hook and ladder fire truck,
Yeah.
and then immediately that broke. It gave way
Well, like
to
a
the
thing
heat.
fell on it, or an explosion happened, and he fell. But then he fell on top of a building and broke his leg.
Yeah.
And then
Meanwhile, Jimmy always needs rescuing. In the previous 2 movies, same shit.
he's the real damsel.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, it's all about Lois Lane, but Clark Kent really just wants to fuck.
Because
Jimmy.
Lois is generally like, especially in the second one, like that. Okay, the second one is where Margot Kidder shines.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is badass. She takes risks. Like in the beginning of the movie, to prove that he's Superman, she jumps out the Daily Planet building, and then Superman like super quickly is like like through the office, down the stairs, and before she can hit the bottom, he has like blown her. Wait, that didn't. I mean. Basically used his breath to cushion her fall, right? And then like used his heat vision to unlock a latch that opened up like a cloth awning, and she like fell into that, right? And then like zoomed back upstairs and was like leaning out the window like, Lois, you idiot. Yeah, like that's the level of elaborate bullshit.
I mean, it's better than flying off the roof with skis.
Right. Oh my God.
God.
All right.
Can we get to that scene? Because that's what I want to shit on.
let's get to that, because basically
But that's so much later. So
but chemical factory, good. Problem
Yes.
solved. And Jimmy goes back to Metropolis, and Clark goes to the reunion
Yes.
on his own.
Side
Meanwhile-
note,
Yeah.
we both just were like, also this other scene.
Yeah.
Our good friend Gus got a job.
Yes. Yes,
at
Gus got a job
thing.
at a computer place, like something
What?
core.
No.
What is it? Web score? Web.
I don't think it's a computer place. I think it's like
I don't know.
a big business with computers.
But it has guards and it has multiple. Like to me, it feels like a bank.
It's got a fountain that flips upside down and ruins your carpet, but you're okay with it. And the
He has
fountain
a
keeps going on.
giant James Bond lair, like at the top, complete with a ski slope at the top of this 30-story like skyscraper. There is an entire aspen cabin with a ski slope.
I'm glad
and-
they justified it because for a second I was like,
Did they?
well, they didn't justify it, but I meant like for a second I was like, fuck, no one flies to California or to Colorado that fast.
Right.
Sea states are my downfall. Because I can't see. I have vision issues. I wear
Okay.
glasses a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the audience because they can't see this either.
Got it.
Jonathan's so mad right now.
I'm not
He's like,
mad.
I hate him. That's you're like mad because you
These
know
are
it was
the
a good
jokes.
joke. That's like you being like, shit, I hate that he's right.
I know.
But it is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was really pissed about that too, but we're not there yet. Don't.
I mean, I'm just establishing this. You asked about the corporation.
Yeah, no, but yes, but we've only. This is because we've only seen the
we're
inside.
We're talking about entry level job stuff right now. Okay.
But when do we also do the entry for the actual evil villains? Because they have one before they actually meet him.
Yeah, they do. No, they do once he gets his first underhanded paycheck.
Yes. Okay.
So basically, and this is also the joke too, is like anybody who knows Office Space knows that this movie is referenced in Office Space because they go, isn't that just the same plot as Superman 3?
It's called salami something.
What, like slicing the pennies?
Yeah.
The fractions and pennies, right? Yeah, so anybody who knows the main like scheme that they try to do in Office Space, this is where it comes from.
So everyone's paycheck, they get an amount of money, but there are oftentimes percentage cents on the ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have like 0.44 cents left, but they just round down because companies want to save some. So this, basically his plan is tell the computer to put all of that into one account, but make that account send out
payable
paychecks
to
for
me.
me. Yeah.
Right.
He gets $85,000 the first check. Sorry,
right.
That's jumping ahead.
Which somebody did the math, and apparently it's 17 million employees.
Which,
if he got 85,000 per paycheck,
I am sure there's a company out there with 17 million employees, but I can't imagine it.
That basically that is
in one
the world.
Yeah.
I mean, only the government might.
How many people do you think are in the world?
I don't know. There's billion. It's like 6.5 billion.
Okay.
No,
I just meant
7.2
billion.
Maybe the world in
there's 17 billion.
Maybe the
people.
world in like the 80s.
17 billion people in the world.
I didn't mean the world. I meant how many are in the country?
More than 17 million.
Okay. It's like a billion, right? In the country?
A billion's more than a million, numbnuts.
How many?
I'm kidding. No, that's a line from Austin Powers that I love quoting.
How many are in like New York?
I also don't know that answer. Do you think I would?
I don't know. You seem to know the rest of them.
I got a theater degree, genius.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not we're not
on talking terms, Jonathan.
we're not population experts.
It's the population podcast called Popcast.
Yeah, right. It's a
now that has to be started.
It's co-partnered with Fun with Flags.
Yeah,
so we just
Fun with who?
Fun with Flags.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were being homophobic for a second. Okay.
No.
I was like, I have that kind of fun, but like you shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
That's my people's words.
Okay, so yeah, he that's his scheme, that's his thing, and that gets the attention of Ross Webster and his sister Vera and their sidekick Lorelei, right? Actually, their accountant. They're having a meeting with their accountant, and they're like, "Who does this stuff? Like these smart people with computers, and like bring them to me." Basically,
smart people with computers, or someone that just typed "give me money," and it was like, "All right,
give me money, me."
Yeah,
me a money need.
C-spot money.
So they go to him, and they pretty much. They don't really blackmail him.
No. Well, so what happens first?
I don't know.
So we get introduced to our evil villain's lair, right?
Right.
The sister walks down. She's
just like
gray,
silver brushed metal all over the place.
But then
he's in gray too.
So the main evil guy, which guy was he?
Ross Webster.
Yeah.
It's played by Robert Vaughn.
Okay. Yes, Robert Vaughn. Ross Webster. So Ross Webster is like. Someone's like siphoning off money because like his accountant's telling him no, but then he's like he's gonna slip up sometime, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know, they say it in the movies. And then like they look out the window, and there's this idiot Gus being like, here's my $1 million car that I'm just rolling in the lot with and parking in the middle of the street because I think fancy money means can do whatever.
The guy who got this job
a day ago
after being on unemployment for weeks. Yeah.
Also, do their paychecks come daily?
I don't know. Right, because
time in this movie does not work normally because we'll see in his next computer heist.
Because he gets a Ferrari off of $85,000, but I guess didn't pay any other bills that week. I guess he's not hungry. I don't know how money works. So now we go back to Superman at the reunion, and he meets Lana Lang, which is an old high school crush.
Sorry. Lana Lang and Lois Lane. You think that they would have maybe written a different and
Lana
I know
Lang's
this goes
from the comics.
I know it goes back to it because I know Lana Lang was extremely important in Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
It played after school on ABC Family, which I know
that's
doesn't
right.
exist
You know all
anymore.
this.
But I watched it a lot, and that's why I got so into Tom Welling. But so I knew who Lana was, but then
do you
Lois
want to
is
share
introduced
the
so much
additional
later.
connection here?
What, for Lana?
And
Oh
Smallville?
yeah. So Lana is also in Smallville. She plays not Aunt May. She's
the
like
actress
the mom
that plays Lana in
plays,
this film,
yes.
which is Annette O'Toole.
Yes. She plays the adoptive mother of Clark Kent.
So Martha Kent.
Yes.
Why'd you say that name? Sorry.
I know it's from Batman vs. Superman.
Yep.
Batman v Superman.
Say the name. Say it again. Why'd you say that name?
So angry.
That's my mom's name too.
But
Did we
she
just become best friends?
She's like right? It's actually just the plot of Step Brothers.
Yeah.
But Annette O'Toole actually is like amazing and beautiful and flawless. She's great.
My last name's Man too.
Right? I am Batman. So she
Step Brothers. My name's Man.
She
That was real dumb.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. But yeah, she's there. He talks to her, but then the entire time, and also in
She won't
minor
shut
things,
up.
She does love to talk.
God.
Is that a dig at me? Jeez.
No.
Just tell
no,
me. Fuck. I'm kidding.
Lana won't shut up. She won't shut up about her, because
she is constantly on.
Yeah. She's so her incessant need to talk is so that she can get out all her exposition too, which is I have an ex-husband, I have this kid, he used to be the bully in high school, you remember him? Yeah. And he was the football jock, and now he's a loser and he's an alcoholic, but he also happens to work for the whatever company Richard Pryor works for.
The Wheat Killer? What is it called?
I don't know.
Wheat Friend. It's something like Wheat something, and it just looked stupid and ridiculous.
Weeb Score?
No, Wheat.
Wheat. Oh,
it's farming equipment.
Oh,
why a farming equipment has a supercomputer that can connect to a satellite? Wheat King.
Yes. Okay, this is where I got confused because I'm what is this company?
Well, okay, hold on, real quick. They're at the 10-year reunion or whatever.
Right.
They go through their whole things. That guy interrupts, and then they dance, and then the next morning Clark Kent is being polite and helping her clean up. That's about it.
Because she's
really,
also in charge of the reunion.
Yeah. So next day, she's getting groceries. Clark Kent is helping. As they're leaving, Richard Pryor is arriving because Smallville happens to be exactly where the supercomputer for Wheat King is. I really don't know if that was it, but that's
they
what I'm
also
calling it.
they said we need you to find a supercomputer that's easily hackable.
Oh, okay.
And they were probably some rinky-dink town.
Yeah.
And it's I guess Smallville is
it's a massive
close
farming
to
community.
Metropolis.
Yeah. Okay. See, I thought that all of this was taking place in the Midwest.
Because I always thought Metropolis is Kansas. I mean, not Metropolis, Smallville.
Okay, there you go. 'Cause
Right.
I was looking at you how could an entire city be
Just let him get there on his own. It's
I
fine.
know. I was he'll figure it out. See, but then, if it takes place in the same universe as Gotham, Gotham is supposed to be the Chicago.
Okay, but also, I'm confused as to, because do the bad guys live in New York? Because that's clearly New York.
Yes, it is. New York is modeled after Metropolis, but the way that they frame it, they always frame it to where Smallville is more Illinois, because Illinois does have air quotes around it, the home of Superman.
But I'm telling you that
I believe
they didn't use
correct me, viewers,
nondescript that was the Eiffel Tower. I mean,
yes.
Not the Eiffel Tower. God damn it. The
Leaning
Empire,
Tower of Pisa.
It was the Empire State Building, the Pan Am, and Lorelei was on the Statue of Liberty. Okay.
Yes.
So, you tell me what's going on.
So I think Metropolis is New York, where Gotham is Chicago. I think that's the idea behind it.
Well, okay.
Or, because they can't use the real. They could use the real cities, but they.
Gotham has a Statue of Liberty-esque thing. I know that from the Arkham Asylum games.
So does Paris.
Yeah,
it really does. Paris has multiple.
And so does Vegas at New York, New York.
Yeah.
And
it could be either of those three.
I know, right? But I mean, using the Statue of Liberty in this film, the Pan Am Building, and the Empire State Building, I think,
and the Twin Towers.
Yeah, I think that is actually New York, not Metropolis, and they just happen to be close by.
Well, but see, here's the thing: the boat that they're about to sink later, or that they want to all congregate, the one rogue boat, is going towards what would be labeled as New York, but he's like, we got to get to, we got to get to, yeah, shut up. God, I hate you. That was a good one. That's when we know the joke is good, to where it's like, fuck you.
It's been that the whole time today.
I know. We're just so mad. We'll never get through a movie, because now we're at an hour almost.
Don't remind them. They're like, I have things to do. Clicking off now.
Traffic
bombs
is
away.
not even happening. Because that's all when we listen to podcasts. Let's be real.
Right?
You can't do anything else.
I'm listening to this on 4th of July. There is no traffic.
Right. That was me today. I was like, God, I got to work in 5 seconds. Usually it takes 2 hours.
Right. Faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah.
Because of Memorial Day.
But whenever the ship was going back to the point that would be New York, the ship is like, we got to make it to Metropolis.
Right.
That's our course.
I'm totally confused because you're right. And then I think in the unemployment scene in the beginning, he says something about Metropolis too, that the unemployment office of Metropolis, and I'm just like, I'm confused.
It's the whole idea of it.
I
Is
know
just,
the parallel. I know what you mean.
DC setting up their own universe so they don't have to use real world things.
Gotham
so they
is
can
what? Detroit,
Chicago. Is what I always assumed.
Oh, I assumed it was shittier.
Okay. Sure. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pittsburgh. Because that's where they filmed it.
What
for
part
that,
of the movie are we at?
Okay.
I thought they all filmed in Canada.
No, I know that...
And UK.
I know Dark Knight Rises was Pittsburgh.
Oh, I was talking about the film we're talking about.
Oh, no. I was just making the correlation of,
No.
Whatever.
Get back to the movie.
Yeah, back to the movie.
Back to Superman 3. I know we haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
But, yes.
Anyway, Richard Pryor shows up in Smallville, and he decides to buy a, plaid suit, right? Go to the job of Lana Lang's husband, which I didn't catch his name, actually.
Baby daddy. I don't know.
Yeah,
either,
right.
But
it doesn't matter. We're just saying Lana's
very
ex-husband.
Weird. He was
right?
terrible. He was a bad guy.
Yeah, he looked like Ron Weasley with a mustache.
Also, he looked like, you helped me with this earlier. I forgot her name already.
It's Shelley Duvall.
Like Shelley Duvall's brother. He looked like Shelley Duvall's brother 100%.
Yeah. And Richard Pryor goes to him and immediately in what I can only call white speak.
Yes.
Yeah. He does what when black comedians try to do a white person impression, what they think white people sound like, right?
It's my favorite.
And that's what he's doing, because I guess that's the only way the security guard would trust him, if he's like, oh my God, wouldn't you know it? Honk-a-donk-a-doo-doo-doo. You're just all right, it seems forced and unnatural, and I wouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
Right? But
he also, he keeps explaining himself I missed my flight, and then, I was driving out here, and I got a flat, so I had to change it myself with my own little pinky.
He's got these long run-on monologues in this film.
I think someone was just make this joke. Here's the line, but make it comedy.
Right.
And then no one was like, should we stop him? No, he'll get there.
What's the deal with Superman?
Right?
I don't know why Jerry Seinfeld's in this movie now.
Oh, I was going more for...
What's the deal with this Superman?
I was just going with Bill Cosby.
First class flying, am I right?
Still sounds like Bill Cosby to me.
Yeah, because I'm not doing...
Sound like first class to me.
Your
Bill Cosby's pretty okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I said okay.
I'll take it. I can't do Richard Pryor though.
Yeah, no one can. He's great.
Eddie Murphy could.
Yeah. Well, so Richard Pryor.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was like,
Jesus.
Richard Pryor does get in.
This is still more entertaining than Superman 3.
He has a traveling salesman case of alcohol, and so they drink themselves
How
to
did
death.
he know that alcohol was going to be the key to this guy's heart?
Alcohol is the key to anyone's heart, unless they have problems.
Is that what would have happened to you today at work? If a random black guy in a plaid suit just walked up today at work when you were supposed to be guarding things and just was just like, here's a giant case of alcohol.
If he was
Let
as
me
handsome
in.
as Joe, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope Joe's listening. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That
That beautiful, beautiful smile.
He has the best smile. Don't even. He's a coworker of ours. He's really great. He's so nice.
He is. He's amazing.
He's so smooth.
Super smooth.
He is. God, I got to sidetrack. What's happening? Yes. So Richard Pryor loosens him up with some liquid courage, but he eventually passes out.
But okay, why did he bring a oversized foam cowboy hat to this party?
I like to think that was already at that place as like a joke,
Okay,
and then he just picked it up and put it on.
I guess.
Like, when you're drinking somewhere and then you're like, oh shit, what's that? And then you play with it.
Well, yeah. But like, in the context of like decisions that this movie and its director made,
I thought this was like the most normal decision. Like, I could imagine them sitting there drinking and then being like, oh, there's a giant foam cowboy hat over there. Ha ha, funny, because everyone here is cowboys because there's so much farming.
Right.
So, like, I'm going to go put it on because
Okay.
I'm city and I don't know what country is. Ha ha, look at me, I'm a cowboy.
Okay, so his plot is that he needs to break in and
Right.
hack into this computer.
Yeah.
Right? But he also has the idea, he's like, I need to get the security guard drunk.
Yeah.
Why does he in turn also get drunk?
See, I thought the same thing, and I was like, yeah, but he also did need to, like, show him the whole, like, hey, I'm drinking too,
Right,
don't
but
worry.
he could have very clearly just like toss it over his shoulder or anything else that any other movie in the history of let's get you drunk.
Yeah.
Right?
But it just added
This-
to the fun.
What fun?
Right? It wasn't
Like,
fun at all because it literally, like, he goes to the supercomputer, we'll put air quotes around that, and it's like, put in both keys at the same time or will not work. And he's
Right.
like, oh, how do I do this? So he, like, rigs up another
oh my
machine
God.
to, like, do both at the same time by
'Cause
using
ex-husband-
passed out drunk.
Yep, ex-husband passes out, and he uses his passed out body to be the other person, right? Which
That
would
is the
make-
definition of rape.
yeah, to be the other person.
Uses their body to be the other person.
Um,
That is
which in most
terrible.
other movies,
in most other
would-
like
this would
planets, it
more-
wouldn't work.
yeah, this would be more of like handprint identification or
Yeah.
something, you know. But this movie decides that it's like slide the or
He needs plastic key cards.
right. It's not even turn the key at the
Yeah.
same time.
It's not even like RFID chip. It's like put in this weird plastic, like funky looking thing.
It just
God,
looks
yeah.
like a pocket protector.
Yeah. But this is
And-
also, so this is when he breaks in, right? And this is
Yes.
whenever he's typing in commands that's like, control satellite.
Right.
Got it. Controlling satellite. Make storm. Got it. The storm is being made.
Yep.
And he makes a storm. And it like the whole idea first is to decimate the coffee bean stock in South America
Yep.
and then have the world have no coffee. That fails because
Ooh.
it fails.
Yeah. That would be important nowadays. But
Yeah.
back then I'm like, was it that
well, the coffee
important?
market actually is failing currently.
Yeah.
Coffee's
Weird.
It's not doing well.
Well, you know, that happens when people are like taking shits in Starbucks and throwing it on the walls.
Ew.
You didn't see that?
No.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Somebody was refused the bathroom and so they just decided to plop down and then grab it and throw it at the person who, yeah. That and the whole racist thing, like, that's why the coffee industry's going to hell.
Who shits on the floor? God, I hate people. Anywho.
Right?
So we just see like the weather start, but then we go back to the evil lair.
But we also see there's a couple that gets a bill for Bloomingdale's, right? And I went,
oh,
is that
so,
scene in the future?
All right. So
Okay,
this entire
it's a
yeah.
montage, right? It's a montage of weather, but also like
He's like activating other things.
Right.
Like an ATM puts out too much money.
Right. And then, like I said, there's a bill that comes to this couple's house, and it's like huge, like
He
bill
sends
for
out a
Blooming-
bunch of them.
Right. But that's what I mean is, like, in this montage, is that specific bill to Bloomingdale's in the future?
It looks like it's like
5
as he's
days
typing,
later.
Yeah, he's like typing, and then it shows like the machine, the auto like bill printout machine going to
Right.
work, and then the bill goes off, and then it gets to these people's house that they're having breakfast.
But it's still
But
within
he's doing the computer like at
montage.
night at like
Right.
2 a.m.
Yeah, so it goes to
Like-
their house, and then after the joke of being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna slam a lemon in your face,"
It was
or
a grapefruit. Yeah.
whatever.
Well, because she's most likely the one shopping at Bloomingdale's. So
Well,
he was like,
yeah,
how
that's
many
the
fucking
joke.
dresses
But-
did you buy?
But still, like, that joke and that scene should have been at the end of the montage,
yeah,
right? Because after he slams it in her face, it goes back to him typing.
Oh, yeah.
And then there is a scene where the walk and don't walk of a crosswalk decides to slide, like, basically, you know, like, walk and don't walk are on top of each other. Now,
He's
normal,
like messing with traffic.
right?
lights at that point.
Normal
Yeah.
walk and don't walks is like, walk is a guy walking symbol, and
And
don't
it's-
walk is a hand.
It's basically
right?
both are made out of like bright lights. What are those things called? The children's
LEDs?
toys? No, the kids' toy. You know where you have like the little
Oh,
like
light bright.
light brights. I call them bright lights.
Right.
Reverse tomato.
Yeah.
Light brights. It's basically like they're both made out of light brights in real life.
Yes.
Essentially.
Um,
In this one though, they're made out of LED screens where they can fight each other.
yeah, see, so the walk symbol slides up into the don't walk square.
He
and
climbs up. He's like, "Get me this bitch not letting people walk.
Right. I've told you everybody
Yeah.
needs to walk.
We love it."
Right.
And, like,
then they
chaos-
duke it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like, might be the best fight sequence in the movie.
It's pretty So then, yes.
All this to control the weather.
Yeah. So it flashes over to the evil lair, and they're like, this is when we're introduced to them skiing on top of this fucking... the whole scene is set up to where it looks like they went to Aspen, right?
Yes.
So they're going throughout
celebrating
it.
their, victory.
Yeah. Richard Pryor shows up, and he's like, you haven't seen the news? Like, Superman fixed the weather,
Right.
too.
He was bad, man. He was a crazy honky.
He reversed...
Basically, he was talking like that.
He reversed a tornado at one point,
Yep.
which did not make sense. And then Richard Pryor's like, we got to do something.
Well,
and
no,
then
it makes sense. If you can,
Yeah.
like, spin the world backwards, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
reverse spin the tornado.
Yeah, I guess. So what?
Right.
It's sucking space into Earth. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
There's no air in space. You want to suck no air into Earth? No,
It doesn't bother Superman.
no. Yeah, so he'll live. That's
Not in space,
Yeah.
but in a plastic bubble.
So Ross Webster's like, we should do something about that. Meanwhile, Gus is like, I'm wearing this blanket. Also, these skis are funky, and he slides down the hill and flies off the roof. Falls like a good
30 stories.
Yeah. Oh, we both guessed 30.
Yes.
That was pretty good. Connections. He drops like a good 30 stories, but then it's got like the building has one of those like outward glass awnings.
Yes,
like there's
it's like a
subway
45
underneath.
degree,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he lands on the cafeteria ceiling without shattering the glass or his
Ankles.
Yeah, ankles. I was going for shins, but I guess I'll take ankles.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for your throwaway body part. My God. Yeah, he lands, no leg damage, no glass damage, slides off the roof, lands in the middle of the road.
That's probably another at least 3-4 stories.
Yeah. And then
And
there's
just
like a
lands it.
He just lands it, and then attacks is
That's
like,
where I went,
"Bah."
oh
Yeah.
shit, he's a super villain.
Right?
Yeah.
But attacks is
He's
like,
one
get
of
out of
Zod's
the way.
people.
So then he's just like, oh, sorry, and then pretends to carry on, like skiing off a building with a blanket on your back is a normal occurrence.
Right? There's no like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I think I'm superhuman too. There's nothing.
He's like, oh, sorry, folks.
right? He's like, ah!
Just
Whoa,
enjoying
that
some
was
skiing.
crazy.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, God. Oh, no.
Yeah, that was weird. Now, we did gloss over a scene where Superman saves Lana Lang's son in a
Oh,
cornfield.
yeah.
He just happens to, like, pass out or go to sleep.
It looks like
I
he
don't
tripped
know.
and hit a rock, I guess.
I don't know. So, yeah, Lana and Clark and Alana's son and their dog are having a picnic, and it's basically not important other than the fact that, like, I wanted to bring up the fact that they, in order to really sell the fact that, like, the dog is whining far away, like, they draw, like, what looks like Wi-Fi symbols into Superman's ear. It literally just looks like a Wi-Fi bar signal.
It's like, wow.
Right? And I'm like, no, I got the point.
Yeah.
Like, I got it. They established that it was, like, from way over in the other cornfield, and, like, he's clearly like, oh, what the hell, I'm hearing something, right? So I didn't need that.
Yeah.
Like, there was somebody in the editing room who were like, nobody's gonna get this. I didn't get it. I didn't get any of this movie. We need to
the dumb person of the editing team. It's the me of the editing team. Like,
right?
No one's gonna understand.
It's the sound designer. Being like, I don't think my sound really came across there.
I don't think they got it.
Can we
try.
talk to the effects team about drawing audio?
But he
signals?
saves the kid.
Yeah. Also, he saves the kid in a weird way too, where I was like, why didn't you just scoop up and grab the kid at the last minute?
Instead, he grabs the tractor and is like, "Don't!"
Yeah, grab
and then grabs the kid and flies off.
Basically, probably destroys the blade of the tractor.
They're like, great, cool.
Right?
Now our crops are gonna fail.
And I like because
Ricky
in that moment, he wakes up and he's like, oh, who are you? He's like, I'm Superman, and he's like, all right,
yeah,
and then just
cool.
lands. Yeah. And so I just want to establish that the son did exist, and but he's not very important through the whole movie.
Ricky
he just kind of is.
Yeah, Ricky kind of sucks.
Right.
Ricky's just needy because then
But also Superman establishes a new power that I never knew in this scene too, where he can just morph from suit to.
Oh yeah, he went so fast. I was like, oh my god.
He just morphs. He like Vision. He just changes from I'm in a suit. Now I'm in Superman clothes.
Well, that's whenever the computer. We'll get there. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, just remind me of Vision later.
Yeah. So after this, we move on to. Going through I was like, guy falls to 30 stories, nothing happens. I'm literally going through my notes. I was like, this is bullshit.
So Lois Lane decides she has a great idea because her son is a very hard...
Lana Lang, you mean?
Lana Lang.
Yeah.
Yes. Lois Lang, Lana Lois. All those people. L's.
Lana
Lang decides that her son really wants a birthday party to feature Superman. The actual Superman. So she calls up Clark Kent and she's like, "You're good pals, right?" And he is like, "I guess
why
sure."
Is he always the bestest of friends?
I know.
You should probably not say that you're...
Don't have that.
Okay. If you look identical to Superman, maybe the story that you are proposing to other people shouldn't be that we're also bestie of friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because eventually you're going to be like, if you're best friends, why the fuck aren't you all at this party right now? You know?
Oh my God. Right?
Oh, it doesn't make any sense.
So he eventually does decide to go back to Smallville to participate in this child's birthday party, but the entire town oh my... What?
I don't know.
The entire town found...
I'm going back for a second.
Can't do it.
At least Peter Parker is like... He lets me take photos of him, and I wear a mask, and he doesn't want his identity.
He's trying.
Superman is going around from 2 previous movies, giving Lois Lane interviews, being like, "I'm Superman."
Okay,
and
hold on.
Literally is like, my weakness is kryptonite, because he fucking says it.
I know he's giving Lois Lane interviews, but I think he's giving her more than that.
Oh, he totally is. They have sex in the second one at the Fortress of Solitude.
And she dies because of the radiation.
Yeah, right?
Doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, she just pumps his super sperm just straight back into the womb, and it blows out her back. She's dead. Yeah. That's why he needs to reverse the world.
He's like, "Ooh, I came."
Every single time he comes, he needs to reverse the world.
He built up such a good load. He was edging for hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, anyway, he does go back to Small World, but the entire time... Small World... God, this entire episode is a messisode, so you're welcome. That just reminded me of the Mesozoic. God, I really hate that.
Okay.
Brain sucks. Smallville. He goes back. and the entire town is like, "You're here," so they throw him like a party.
Right.
So then the sergeant general, in his little army combat vehicle, trolls up, and he's like, "Doop doop doop. Like, after you got the key to the city, we also want to give you a congratulatory prize."
Okay.
And it's Richard Pryor. And he has a box. He does a whole speech. It's a stupid speech. It does not make any
Mind you,
sense.
in a scene prior,
Great for Memorial Day, though, which is where we're on. Sorry for bursting everyone's bubble
patriotic.
When podcasts record.
Yeah.
But they can't do it on the day of. We've tried. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. So, no, there was a scene prior in which they go, "How can we stop Superman from stopping us, like, controlling the weather?" And they're like, "Well, I did hear that, he doesn't like kryptonite." And it's like, why is his weakness so, like, well known by everyone?
I know. And, like, they make it seem like, hey, did you read the news?
Yeah.
He's weak to kryptonite.
Why? Because I swear to God,
he wrote his own article on it?
No, he gave Lois an exclusive interview where he said that kryptonite was his weakness. In the first movie, he does this interview with Lois and has that conversation. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right?
Like,
the best way to not die?
So I'm like super powerful and like nobody can stop me, but I am good. But there's one thing. If somebody did want to stop me, here's how you do it.
You get some jade. Make it some really good, pretty looking jade.
Yeah.
Gloss it up. Totally takes me out of the equation.
So they have this conversation where they're like, "Oh, I heard that that's how you stop him." And they go, "Okay, great. So what we need to do is get some kryptonite." And they go, "Well, I don't know where we're going to get that. Maybe the supercomputer like can find it, right?"
Oh my God.
Well, not the supercomputer, but computers.
The Vision satellite.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it called?
It's called the Vulcan.
Vulcan, that's
right.
It. Vulcan.
The
Which
Vulcan
I was like,
satellite.
that's a superhero in a different universe.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
That's Spock. That's what Spock is.
He's a Vulcan. That's where it's from.
Yeah,
okay. Nerdcore.
Yeah.
But also, okay, so listen, this satellite is supposed to...
just extremely angry DC
I know.
nerds and Star Trek nerds in this one.
And also Marvel nerds.
Yeah.
We're getting them all. We're making them all mad. So they point this satellite into space, and they're like, hey, we're going to try and find the exploding planet of Krypton so we can see where kryptonite is from, and then we can analyze what it is.
Right.
Why didn't they point that laser, after finding out what kryptonite is made out of, why didn't they point it at Earth and find kryptonite instead of trying to make their own when there was an unknown substance?
Well, the first batch that gets delivered by like Amazon Now, like
No. Well, what I'm saying though is,
girl, did you see it?
Yeah.
That first batch, the one he gives to him,
delivered on printer paper, with tearaway edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I first thought that was a real kryptonite rock.
Well,
but
that's
apparently
what you're supposed
it's
to believe.
not.
Well, no, because he substituted the 0.56% with tar.
Right.
Because he smokes cigarettes. Was his justification like, tar holds my cigarettes together?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll put it in kryptonite. It did not make sense at all.
No, because he's not a chemist.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He's not a chemologist.
Yeah. He's not a cryptologist.
Kryptonologist.
That's a real thing, isn't it? Cryptologist.
Maybe.
I think so.
We'll search it.
Yeah.
We'll search it
like
up.
cryptographs.
But, like, why didn't they just, like, then, like, this is what's in kryptonite? Why don't we point this satellite at the Earth to find it ourselves rather than making it ourselves?
I don't
And I
know.
guess, like, their
Because
whole idea is, like, mass produce it so we can stop Superman forever.
It's always so weird, too, because you're like, how did everybody get so much kryptonite? Like, literally, kryptonite just shows up whenever you need it.
Yeah.
Like, Lex Luthor has kryptonite in the first movie, and it's always shown up in the comics. Yeah. Like, it's almost as if Krypton was next door to Earth when it exploded. Also, it was like passing by. It was like boom, and
how
there was
do they
like
know to name it Kryptonite when it came from Krypton?
Okay, because I think Superman named it that when he was giving his
he was like,
press release.
I'm a reporter. Hey,
like,
it's called Kryptonite. Let's all call it Kryptonite, right? Okay, cool. Let's call it Kryptonite.
When he was giving his press release of how to stop Superman.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear he's allergic to this.
Yeah.
When you phrase it like an allergy, it's like Kryptonite's like a cat, and he can't be in the same household. He's like, oh God. Do you have a kryptonite in here?
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little stuffy.
I'm
Like, I
sorry.
swear, like, you see that little, like, there's a jewel over there. Are you sure that's not kryptonite?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's kryptonite.
I'm sorry.
Can you get it away from me?
I'm sorry. It really likes people. I'll put it in the room. No, it's not gonna work. I have to leave. It's already in the fibers of the couch. I can't.
A Benadryl. If I take a Benadryl, I'll fall asleep. Like, I don't have the right allergy
I have to
medicine.
go.
I'm sorry.
No.
I really do apologize, but I need to leave. My throat's like.
Maybe you should tell
I
people.
can feel it in my throat.
Maybe you should tell people that you have kryptonite before you invite them over for cheese and wine.
Once I get some air, I'll be okay. I gotta leave. Sorry, I gotta leave. I'm so sorry. That was my anger towards any person with an allergy. Oh my god. Got that all out. Okay.
That's Superman.
How do I trash my ex? Okay, here we go. Yes, no. So then the next big plan from Ross is every terrible
Gus?
person is main Ross.
Ross.
Ross. Ross
yeah,
is the
I forget.
brains.
So yeah, during this speech for the key of the city, he goes on and on about like plastics. He goes on a rant about plastics.
And
then
you
goes
don't
on,
want your pen linking in your
right?
pants.
You don't
like,
want your pen exploding. Like if you're the president of the United States of America, you don't want your pen exploding when you're trying to sign the next peace treaty.
But it doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with it.
Nothing
He's like,
of anything.
But all of this is because Superman saves us, and he hands him a rock. And Superman's even like, what the fuck? Like, it obviously does not physically affect him.
He's seen kryptonite before.
Why is he not afraid of anything green?
Why is he immediately like, hey, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't at all. He's just like, thanks for this rock,
When
asshole.
he hears somewhere that's green, he's like, oh shit. The bad
Just
fields of
Laura Lee.
kryptonite. Yeah. Or like,
a rock
it ain't
from
easy.
another place.
Oh my god. Yes, that would have made this film if there was a parody of Somewhere That's Green. So then, like,
he likes to punch bad guys.
I thought you were gonna say he likes to punch my face, and I was like, we're still singing about Little Shop.
Yeah.
Because physical abuse is comedy in that film.
He likes to
show.
fly with capes.
No capes. God, we are not talking about the movie at this point anymore.
He tells people of his weakness, and he throws it in your face.
And that was Superman 3. All right, now it's time for Gimme 5. Oh, it's so bad. So basically, though, like at that point, like Superman fondles the rock, but then like just kind of ignores it.
Yeah, he's like, "Thanks for the rock. Thank you, thank you for this rock."
And so the evil people go back and they're like, "What? Like it seems like nothing worked." So then they move on to Plan 2. Is they use the supercomputer to tell all of the oil tankers to meet in the middle of the ocean and hang out there. And then they also use the supercomputer to tell all gas pumps everywhere. And not like gas pumps at your local gas store.
Right.
But like oil derricks.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of California. Like they're on the side of the road. They're literally across the street from an In-N-Out is like where I see them. Like they're like, we're building a park here.
It's
all
all
like, you have
Bixby.
an oil derrick
Yeah,
and like 2 inches. It's not all Bixby.
All right.
Ah, God, it's all Signal Hill.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no, these things like it just tells them all to stop and not turn back on.
There's like
at all.
There's like oil rigs on random like medians.
I know there really is. That is Southern California. It's like you're driving and all of a sudden there's like a dinosaur like dipping its head into the water. Like you know those birds that are like whoop and they touch the water and come back up. That's all oil derricks are to me. Like
Well,
they just go
to me,
tap oil.
I see
tap
them
oil,
and it's also it's a euphemism for sex from Naked Gun. Remember Naked Gun? They showed like the oil like doing that, like
I
pumping.
am so sorry.
And what?
What do you think I'm about to apologize for?
Pumping?
No, I've only seen the first 15 minutes of Naked Gun.
Oh, okay.
But the mayo joke is hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, the mayo.
Yeah, when they have sex, like there's a whole bunch of like, there's a geyser that's rushing, and like those oil pumps are like pumping faster and faster and faster.
Oil derricks.
Oh, okay.
And oil Stevens.
Either way, you go, guys. If you go,
all right, sorry, you just glossed over a really great joke that I'm not gonna let you pass up on.
I'm sorry.
I said oil derricks and oil Stevens. and oil atoms.
You're just
An
drilling
oil
it.
bins?
You're just drilling it.
I'm
in.
oil drilling it in.
Jesus.
I don't even know if they're actually called oil derricks.
No. Either way, like,
Can we stop talking about
anywhere-
Superman 3,
Yeah.
please? Because this is like more fun to not talk about the actual movie.
You go to Long Beach, you see them everywhere. You
Yeah,
see them in
really.
people's backyards. Okay.
fracking. Am I right? Clinton loved it.
Mm.
And I also supported her, though, because she was the lesser of two evils. But, like, neither here nor there. Political, not getting into it.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
weird. Nobody likes that.
I know. I was like, everyone doesn't want that.
Unsubscribe.
Right? But email.
I'm gonna give them a 0-star review.
Because you couldn't remember
'Cause you-
numbers. I'm going to give him a number
I
review.
couldn't think of one.
Right? Not a single one.
So,
Yes, so.
Superman touched this synthetic kryptonite, and then he just goes off the deep end.
But where on the doll did he touch it?
right on the backside.
Yeah.
So
The hip.
yeah. So it immediately makes him change the color of his Superman uniform to just a darker contrasted tone.
Which
right?
looks like what Henry Cavill wears.
Right. It just looks like a dirty version of
Yeah.
his normal suit that he normally wears.
And it kind of looks good.
Yeah.
It really does look better than
And
the
his
other
hair
one.
looks better than it normally does.
I know. He got really sexy.
But apparently that was a wig.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he was wearing a wig entirely throughout this film
Right.
and Superman 4.
weird.
Yeah.
So he immediately puts mean face on.
Yeah.
And Christopher Reeve's acting of mean face is like, I just smelled a fart. Like the whole time, he's just like,
Everything was a fart smell.
what is that? What is that smell?
But so like through this whole montage,
What's that
like
smell?
Superman goes around and kind of does mean things. So like
But not super mean.
No. He doesn't go out of his way, but he's just like he only goes out of his way once. So like Lois Lane, she
Nope,
apparently
Lana Lang.
Why did they put two
Lane
characters?
and Lang.
They were like, hey, you want us to easily transition people into a love interest? We'll
Yeah.
give her almost like not Siamese twins, but like biological twins. Is essentially what they did with their names.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah. Alliteration on L's.
Right.
God, alliteration.
So he goes to Lana's house, and first she's like, "You want some coffee?" He's like, "Yeah," which I laughed out loud because
Why would he need?
we're living in a world in which Superman, in his like Superman costume,
He's like,
is living a normal life.
juice me up. I am pretty tired today. Those beans.
She
I'll
goes,
take it black.
I saved the coffee industry, so I'll take
Yeah.
some. Right?
I just really, I really want to wake up right now. I haven't had a lot of water,
But
so it'll probably induce a
she
panic
offers
attack.
him coffee, and the camera stays in the living room with him, where he awkwardly is like standing there, like a normal person
Yeah.
would be, right? But he's in the Superman costume, so
if
it's
I was
weird.
Superman, I would only ever hover everywhere just to like express my
Establish
dominance of being like,
dominance.
hello, and I would float up to people to be like, "What's up?" Even if I was like,
Well, that's
a
what Vision normally does.
I know. I was like a total Vision move. Like even a centimeter off the ground, just to be like, "I'm better because I can float." I don't want you to forget.
And always crossing
yeah.
your arms, but having a smirk.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but that's
It's
weird
so
because,
sad.
like, I don't know if I, as Superman, like, I would establish a Superman costume and a Super Leisure costume, just like one where, like, when people do invite me over and I might be possibly boning this chick later,
So
like, not
said-
the tights.
super leisure in the town that I grew up in Southern Illinois. My Superman town, my
Uh-huh.
Smallville.
Yeah,
There was a workout complex.
it is kind of like Smallville. For me.
Yeah, I know. It was named Leisure World, but in my family, we called it Seizure World
Okay.
because my mom once saw someone have a seizure
So-
at the recreation complex. So we always like,
But-
going to Seizure World.
Also, Leisure World just sounds like a really shitty 70s knockoff Suits. Like, just
Well, also-
leisure suits?
Leisure World right now is currently like a massive retirement complex in Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they got that right.
Yeah.
Really know their audience.
So, while she's getting...
The phone call.
Yeah, while she's getting coffee, she gets a phone call. And while that's happening, the camera's still staying on him, and he starts smelling a fart. Like he's, what the, oh, God, Lana, what the,
God,
right?
you eat broccoli and Brussels sprouts? What's going on?
Right? That coffee smells like shit. And she gets off the phone. It's like, Superman, my friend just called.
There's a tractor trailer hanging off of a bridge. Hurry, get there. And
Okay.
Superman goes,
All right. Like,
yeah.
he goes, all right, I'll get to it. Right?
Superman's like, hey, yo, but like I could pound it and then I could go say that.
Right. Okay, so I need to question this, though. This is 1983. This is a world before cell phones, right? So did her friend see the tractor trailer, like, accident, go home?
Oh, that's bad. Hold on, I'll call someone.
Call her friend who's like, hey, you got Superman over right now. You're like, you should let him know.
Right?
You know, like, it's really weird.
I thought that it was like the police calling and they were like, we know Superman's there. Which
Right?
is like my weird thing of being like, why does everyone know Superman's whereabouts? Because then I was like, well, police officers have like phones in their cars because I'm sure
Right.
like they needed that in the 80s.
But, okay, so normally in the comics, Superman would just hear shit and be like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
That's what I
right?
thought.
In this world, like,
No.
he just so happens to be like, God damn, what a coincidence. I happen to be boning Lana right now, and
Right.
you called.
God, she's loose. Anyway, be there in 20.
Right?
And they're like, it's a right now sitch.
Right. Like, almost as if they're like, Lana, you still have that birthday party that's just an excuse to
Right.
bone Superman? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still here. All right, we need him.
So Lana gets a call. She tells Superman, she's like,
Don't
you gotta
tell,
hurry, go.
Don't tell Clark you're boning him.
Right?
Like,
She's like, go, 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 go. And Superman's like, I always get there in time. It's fine. I'll get there when I get there. Because
Right?
he's like so
He
thirsty
goes, so
for
let's,
the date. Yeah.
I'll handle it. So let's sit down for a second, right?
And then Lana's like, maybe you shouldn't.
Well, no, she's like, all right, sits down, and then he is just straight up like suave, but also creepy staring at the same time,
Yeah.
to the point where she's uncomfortable. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this is #MeToo, like, full on. And she's like, maybe you should go.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, he smells a fart again and like knocks out of it.
He smacks himself and he's like, oh, shit. Right. Yeah.
Oh, god damn. Oh, yeah, right? Like, I guess Lana's Spanish fly didn't work. And he flies... He flies to the tractor trailer and it falls over
in
right?
the creek.
And then everybody's like, you should have been here earlier, asshole.
He shows up and he goes, hello, what can I do to help? And they were like, nothing.
Be here earlier, they say.
You're fine. So then, like, all of the oil tankers are meeting in the middle of the Atlantic. One of them is like, we got to make it to Metropolis.
Right.
So, the evil people, all of Ross and his friends, they're like, this one tanker is, like, not following along. We need to get Superman, or we need to, like, figure this out. So, Lorelei
Yeah.
is what I call her. Lorelei is what you call her. Just because I thought it was Lorelei. Anywho, Laura is what I'm just going to phrase it as.
Laura Lane.
Yeah, Laura L. Laura L is like, I can do this. So she somehow manages to climb on top of the Empire. Not the Empire.
Statue
the
of Liberty. Yeah, she's sitting in between two spokes of the crown.
Yeah, she is on top of.
Right?
She's not like, I took the tour up, I paid.
And she is straight up posing, like Playboy
Yeah.
posing, sexily. She's in this red dress, lots of cleavage. And then, like, I guess there's people down below because you can hear them being like, "Don't jump,
Don't jump,
yeah, don't jump." And then Superman shows up, and she's like, "I'm not gonna jump." He's like, pretty much is like, "Good, because I ain't got time for this shit." Because he's evil Superman.
Good, because
right
I wouldn't
now.
catch you because I like the splatter.
Right.
It's like his excuse.
And then some weird dialogue happens in which she just is like,
Do it for me.
Yeah, go punch a hole in the side of the oil tanker.
Yeah, and completely kills all of the wildlife
Yeah.
in the North Atlantic.
Oh yeah, that's
oh my
not
God,
that's
the
not
ocean
getting
life.
reversed.
Yeah.
Because in a world,
I would like to believe that his breath would put the oil directly back into the ship, but that's not how science works.
no,
Even
okay,
if you are Superman.
Yeah.
No.
Because later on, like when he comes to his senses, like 10 minutes later, he blows all the oil back into the hole. Like it just they play the video in reverse and all the oil goes back into the ship.
It does not
right?
make sense.
And then also I imagine like the oil tankers are like, what the fuck just happened? Like what is today for us?
So yes, so he attacks the British ship that is like going to the oil ship going directly
punches
to
a hole in it, rips it open, oil spilling out everywhere, which causes gas prices to surge, and I guess
fights.
Yeah, which Ross I guess he invested in stock? I don't know. Because like
alternative energy.
Because he's also not like he's not an oil tycoon and he's not
he just wanted to watch the world burn.
He's not BP. Yeah, right? It didn't make any sense. So while this is happening,
Gus is like, make me a supercomputer.
Right.
I could benefit.
Right. You should make a supercomputer that knows how to adapt to possibly like all possible threats.
Make it sentient.
Right. Right. That's always good.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, they're like, yeah, we're gonna cut Gus out of this once he like shows us how to operate
because the whole kryptonite thing didn't work in their eyes.
Right.
All of a sudden, though, turns out they did understand because Lorelai, she was like, yeah, we can manipulate him.
Right.
And so he's like evil Superman. So what happens is he goes on a bender.
I love this scene. He's just at a bar.
Side note, though, he convinced Lois.
No.
Lana Lang. He convinced Lana Lang to move to Metropolis with her son. Superman, at the time, though, when she arrives in Metropolis, is drinking at the St. Louis bar, which I was like, yes, St. Louis, because that's where I'm from initially. But he's drunk. He's trashed. He like leaves the bar. He melts a mirror. I don't know how that works.
I'm not sure that alcohol works on Superman. Honestly,
I didn't think that either. I was like, his BAC is probably consistently at 0, no matter what.
Like, you'd have to just go swimming in alcohol for it to even
be
he
would have
effective.
To chug it and then be like, you have more?
But he has a bottle in front of him, and he's taking peanuts and flicking them into...
This is my favorite, because I was like, if I had superpowers, I would flick peanuts all the time and be like, pew, and it would be like, oh, I just got shot.
But this is weird, too, because, like, they show in the beginning of the movie he like tries to like grab a newspaper from like a newspaper and he rips it. So I'm like,
when cannot control his strength.
Yeah, when has he never
stupid.
Not been able to control his strength? Because also in a scene that we skipped, he's being a parental figure for Ricky. Yeah, and lets Ricky bowl. Ricky sucks at bowling, and he like allows him to like bowl. And he shows up his actual father who's trying to teach him how to bowl by like blowing the bowling ball as it like jet propulsions down the lane and smashes,
blows up.
And nobody questions this. Nobody's like, I think he might be the son of Superman.
Right.
Right. Which later when they're like, Lana, you banging Superman? He's like, yeah, still banging him. Yeah, like you saw what happened at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Son of Superman, bitches.
Right.
You know, because nobody questions it. The scene just moves on.
But that's the Superman that came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Return of Superman.
Yeah. This is in the same timeline. It's just reversed.
Yeah. Reverse timeline.
Yeah, right.
Oh, got it. Okay. He ran backwards for this one.
Yeah.
But yes.
But kept the boy in his arms.
So we eventually.
That's weird. I'm de-aging while you fly.
I love keeping the boy in my arms.
So yeah, he's flicking peanuts across the bar, and they're just breaking glasses. And then he like goes outside, and there's Lana and Ricky. They just happen to be at the same bar.
A massive city. There you are.
Right, and he's like, Superman, don't worry, you're just in a rut.
Yeah.
Like
somehow Ricky's like, you got this, you can do it. And then Superman flies off, and those words affect him so much, and he's like, in the back of his mind, like, You can do it. That's my dream voice of like, you got this, Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Does
literally
it sound realistic? No, it doesn't.
No. But
you got this. That's it.
right.
That was all just you can do
Eleanor.
it. Yeah, exactly. It was all Eleanor. Throwback to 1.
Yeah.
2.
2.
2?
Yeah.
All right.
Hauntings
Happening
2.
is 1. Throwback
right?
to 2. But then
Throwback to when we hindsight is 20/20 and
Right?
we had 2 people then.
hindsight is 2 and 2. Yes, but he crash lands in a junkyard, and all the junkyard employees are like, "Shit, get out of here!" For some reason, and then he proceeds to have a fight with himself, which is pretty much like
Pointless because like you're like, is this real? Did he split into 2?
Turns out it's not real. He was just choking a figment of his imagination
He's
because
just
he was
choking his
struggling
chicken.
with it.
Yeah.
That's masturbation.
Yeah, it is. Well, I
Killing
mean,
the cat.
this is basically self-masturbation the whole
Oh,
time.
I wish this is how I masturbated.
Fighting yourself
in a
like that's-
junkyard.
right? Like okay. So this is arguably the most iconic scene in the movie, but it's just it's pointless.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's okay. Somewhere
It's
along the
constant,
line,
like, you're in a crushing machine, you got out. You're in a crushing machine, you got out.
Yeah, like-
cars, you got out.
you fall into some acid. That doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
spray acid on the other guy. That doesn't matter.
matter.
You crush a guy in the thing. That doesn't matter. I did love, this was very satisfying for me because at this point I'm just frustrated with this movie where like he used his heat vision to cut the chain on the magnet, the giant like car pulling magnet, and it just smashed Clark Kent. I was like, thank you.
Like a tent stake right in the ground. And then,
but none of this
unfortunately,
matters
he goes,
because
"Whoop."
he's just basically fighting his own demons internally. You
Yeah.
realize, but it's stupid because, and you had mentioned like there are storylines where there are multiple Supermans that like split into 2,
Yeah.
and I mean I specifically remember reading like when he turned, it was like Superman Blue versus Superman Red, like he was electric and he split into 2.
What is that,
Like-
Halo? That shitty off comic they tried to make.
Yeah,
To be like, how do we franchise our universe?
Yeah, that's
Red
stupid.
versus blue.
Right. Stupid. Yeah. Spy versus Spy did it first, and it wasn't good then either.
Well, I think they did.
Mad Magazine, you tried.
But, I mean...
Mad tries as
Spy
hard as
v
we
Spy.
do.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, Spy v Spy, like, made...
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I watch it and I go, what is this?
I love it. It's
Yeah?
like Tom and Jerry, but, like, different.
Okay.
Black and white.
Yeah. So,
I love Tom and Jerry.
that was
type
pointless, but Superman's back on track.
Stuff.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, he chokes himself to death, and unfortunately,
Clark
it's
wins.
Not the kind of choking myself to death that I've
Right?
experienced. Sometimes you just want to like get yourself to
Autoerotic?
that brink.
Oh, he
Yeah.
autoerotic
He
asphyxiated
did.
himself.
You ruined
Damn
my
it.
entire joke. Yes, he was totally into autoerotic asphyxiation,
Right.
autoerotic supermanation.
Also, things that we should mention is while he was evil, he also
While he was choking himself.
No, while he was evil. He also fixed the Leaning Tower of Pisa for no reason.
The most notable scene of this movie is throwaway scenes.
And he also, what was the other one thing that
he blew out the
he
torch
blew out the Olympic
of the Olympics,
torch as it
yeah.
was being lit in its final place.
Which, like, I would be
I was
interested
like-
to know if, like, in 1983 there were Olympics.
No, it wouldn't because that's an off year.
Yeah. Because we just had winter in 2000.
Well, they're always even years, no matter what.
2018?
So, yeah.
Then we had winter.
Yeah.
Which means summer is 2020.
Right.
Yeah, that wouldn't have counted. If they filmed in 82,
I still don't think so. It would have been 80.
Would it?
I think so. I don't know.
Increments of
Either-
four? I don't know.
Either way,
Someone out there that's better than math,
But
than
also-
us, do it.
also this movie isn't actually time stamped, so like
Oh,
we
yeah.
could say that it
Yeah.
was or wasn't, but it's just still stupid. You're just like, that's what you did with your
Yeah.
time. You're just trolling people.
You're like, I'm gonna blow out a fire.
like do something else. Do something like I don't know, like use your heat vision and be like,
Blow up some pound houses.
oh my god, like this jacuzzi is really hot. Like it's boiling.
It's just a bathtub.
Yeah.
Put Carrie with
Oh my
you.
god, my jacuzzi's frozen now.
Yeah.
Like
Oh shit! I took the cover off. It's weird.
right?
Uh,
But either way, that was some things he did, and they're all stupid.
But he fights himself, he kills himself, and he comes to, like, recognition.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, though, they have, so we have our 3 supervillains,
and
Ross,
now,
his sister, and then the bimbo. Sorry, bimbo's a bad word. I shouldn't use it.
Lorelei.
All right, but let me be real. It's fitting.
Yeah.
And then also Gus, Richard Pryor. They all go to their cave in Utah.
I thought it was the Grand Canyon.
Utah.
I mean, but it is the Grand Canyon, right? It's like
I thought it was Utah.
stock footage of the Grand Canyon, right?
No, isn't the Grand Canyon in Utah?
No.
Is it Nevada?
Huh? Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, it is. What am I talking about? Or Arizona.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
You
it's
know
on that
what?
line.
I'm not a geographyologist.
Yeah, I'm not a geologist. But that's rocks.
Yeah, I know. I was like, don't go there.
Yeah, either way, but it's pretty. It is the Grand Canyon.
So they
right?
built their supercomputer in the middle of nowhere in the side of a mountain at the bottom of a ravine.
Right.
Because if the world goes to shit, you want to be at the bottom of a ravine where everything could collapse on you.
Right.
Exactly.
And they leave a message for Superman at the
on the voicemail
ski tower. Yeah.
They're like,
on the
hi, if you've reached Ross, like, please try again. We'll get back to you in like 6 to 7 business days. If you're Superman, we're not here. We're at these coordinates. Figure it out. But also, we might try to kill you. So, like, be warned, you're gonna live a video game.
And so they're at the top of the Grand Canyon, and they each have like mini hot air balloons.
Oh my god, with little fans on the back.
And
they're like, "Woo, you can do it!"
And it's revealed that they're going down to their lair, which has the supercomputer in it, which is fully built and ready to go. Which means that
stupid.
Are you telling me that they don't have another means to get down to this? Like this whole time it's being built, they didn't.
Who brought the parts down?
Right. And how do you get back up? Like, you have to hot air balloon back up?
Yeah! Build a fucking elevator.
You guys are the worst villains.
No, they're
like,
terrible. They were literally like, what if we were evil? Ha! It didn't make sense.
These are like the D-list squad villains that like usually are like the first villains to get taken down establishing like a Superman sequel.
This movie was like, we have 5 great villain options to choose from. Nope, none of them are good. Let's go with the bad one. Yeah.
So let's go with Richard Pryor instead.
Yeah.
So Richard Pryor is like, I don't ride no hot air balloons. I'm gonna take this mule down.
Right?
So he's not there in time, right? For Superman to show up for the first confrontation.
Superman, the video game, Atari 2000.
Yep.
Trademark.
So they use the supercomputer and they have this screen which is watching Superman, but it's also like Atari 2600 like pixels, right? And it actually was designed
Apparently when they first made it, they were like, it's too realistic, dial it back.
Right. More like, pixelation, I guess.
Shut up.
Right?
Like, even in like...
But why isn't it just a normal screen with some like target crosshairs?
Yeah, but that's also the thing, like...
And why does it say game over when the missiles are like
I know. They exclusively were like, what if we put like a video game thing in?
Right.
Like,
people love video games, right?
But like,
meanwhile, the video game market was about to collapse that year.
Yeah, it was so close. That was the whole Atari
E.T. Pac-Man
scandal.
Yep.
It was so bad.
Yep.
They buried him in a desert, and I'm still trying to find it. But
it also doesn't matter because this movie never saw the light of day, I feel like.
And they did make a video game for this movie, but it never saw the light of day because they were like, no, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Don't.
Please don't.
But
they're firing missiles at him through this video game, and Superman's like kicking them, and they're like exploding onto other things.
And then they're like, hey, we've got like a mega missile. We're going to shoot it at him, so distract him with your like normal missiles. Did you notice why like the normal missiles that were basically like bottle rockets, fancy bottle rockets, shooting off in like the last round of them after they say like, it's your last shot, don't fuck up. In the last round, they all go off. And one is still sitting on the stand. There's one rocket like, oh, sorry, I fucked up. Like, and I was like, No. And then like the big missile comes and like it does hit Superman and he flies into like I can never remember
Like a
the difference
rock.
between like
I
a
don't
stalactite or a stalagmite. They're not even in a cave, so it wouldn't matter for either one of them. He hits like a pillar.
Yeah.
Right. He's fine. It's Superman. A missile's not going to do anything. Why do people not think that through? The smartest thing I've ever seen anyone do to Superman was in Smallville. Someone fashioned a bullet out of kryptonite
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
and shot him.
Yeah.
They shot him in like the spleen because they're stupid.
Yeah.
But I also didn't extremely watch that episode, so don't come at me.
I mean,
if
I
got it wrong.
genuinely appreciated most of the stuff that Batman did to him in the Superman versus Batman movie. Like,
I know I watched that movie.
but it's forgettable.
No, I explicitly blocked it from my memory.
Right.
And
Like,
I watched the
I know he made a
extended
staff
version.
of
Yeah.
kryptonite, but I know that he also used...
did?
Yeah. Because that's the same staff that they use on the monster at the end, on Doomsday. Yeah. Superman uses that staff on Doomsday because he's also a Kryptonian monster to kill, and because he's the one that brought it to him, it poisoned him and killed him.
I watched the extended version
Yeah.
of this movie.
Yep.
And had zero idea. Nothing. Nope. None.
I think the only thing I remember that the extended version of it has is like a like over the radio broadcast of like Metropolis versus Gotham, like football game. Right? I was like, oh, they're establishing that they're next door.
Yeah.
Because like it also wasn't, so it was confusing throughout the whole movie.
The only thing I exclusively remember from that is the
Martha thing. Yeah.
I know of it, but
And Wonder Woman showing up out of nowhere.
No, my thing was the dream sequence.
Oh, yeah.
The big Omega symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Which
sign of the
doesn't
future.
make any sense because that future didn't play out in the Justice League movie.
I know.
So, oh God, what a piece of... Okay, so it is confirmed that DC has never known what they're doing when it comes to Superman or anything but Batman.
It sucks to say, Marvel's on their shit.
It seems like they always have been. Yeah.
I don't like feeding into like the whole superhero. I don't like the whole like mass universe movie idea.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel is doing it extremely well.
Killing it.
They're doing so good.
19 films in, killing it.
Yeah.
So Superman shows up inside the cave where the supercomputer is. Richard Pryor has also shown up there, and immediately Richard Pryor is like, "Hey, I'm not on their side. I'm on your side, Superman." And even Superman's like, "Yeah, bullshit." And then, but
2
Superman
seconds
doesn't
from
also
now,
seem
he's
to
like,
recognize
yeah.
him as the general who poisoned him.
Right?
Right? Nobody recognizes anybody if you
No.
wear any sort of
And
disguise.
Superman even ran into Richard Pryor
Yeah.
in Smallville to be like, "Oh, sorry, I just like shoulder checked you on
Yeah.
accident."
Yeah. No idea.
Problem.
Right? So they hit a button that says invisible shield. Which is anything but invisible, as it's basically
No.
the boy in the plastic bubble.
The boy in the plastic yellow bubble.
Yes.
That was also like loosely knit together with string.
And
The
they're,
soccer net bubble.
they're like, he's going to suffocate in there. And I'm like, he's been to space.
You know what they don't have in space?
What?
Oxygen.
Right. And he does just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, has literally flown to other planets. And in this moment, they're like, he can't breathe. And he seems to be having trouble for no apparent reason. And then he gets out of that, and then they turn on a kryptonite laser light, which stops him in his tracks. And this is where Richard Pryor is like, you didn't tell me you were going to kill Superman. And I'm like,
Well-
they literally hired you to kill Superman.
So what I read through this scene is that Superman really never wanted the limelight. but he got it. You're so mad at me.
I appreciate it, but that's a hard joke to do when we're in audio podcasts.
Limelight.
Because it's green, guys.
Okay, if they don't know the color of kryptonite, and they don't know the color of lime,
You're right.
and they don't know the joke about
You're
light
right.
being a thing that you see,
You're right.
they should probably at this point be blind.
Right. Moving on.
It's like nothing offensive to blind people, but
Richard
sorry.
Pryor gets a heart for Superman, even though he was hired
he gets
to
a heart
kill
on.
Superman. Like he's like, you didn't tell me you were gonna kill him. You can't kill him. And it's like,
That's
no,
what you were hired to
right.
do.
Literally, there's a conversation.
He says,
where Ross says,
we want to kill him.
I asked you to do one simple thing and
Okay.
kill
Yeah.
Superman, and you couldn't even do that. I'm like, no, it was explicitly expressed. And so Richard Pryor goes down and pulls a main microchip circuit or something from the computer.
He pulls
and-
the aux cord,
Yeah.
and he's like, no more music.
And then the computer turns itself off, but then immediately turns itself back on, and it becomes sentient. It becomes Skynet, and then so Richard Pryor's like, no, and takes an axe to the kryptonite laser ray, and then Vera, which is the bad guy's sister. We haven't mentioned much of her in this episode, but whatever.
She's the blurry one.
Yeah.
She's fine.
She falls down or something into the main part
She
of the
backs
computer.
up into it, and
Yeah.
that's when she becomes Vision.
Yes. Yeah.
Vi-
She becomes a Vision thriller zombie.
She's like a 1980s Vision with thriller, but she also what's that one band? I want to say the people that sing Barracuda.
Oh, Heart?
Yes, but
Okay.
I don't think that's right. It's very 80s hair, to where it's like
Oh.
everything was straightened and pointing
Yeah.
everywhere
Sure.
out.
Got a little Joan Jett-ish.
Yes, Joan Jett.
Okay, there
Exactly.
you
That's
go.
who I was looking for. I was
Yeah.
looking for Joan Jett and who's the
Yeah.
other one? Who's the lesbian? The other lesbian half of Joan Jett.
I don't know.
It was two girls.
I was about to make a Howard the Duck reference with the cherry bombs from that. Yeah, just giant hair and but it's also got a sweatband. And
Painted silver.
I don't know what's happening because it seems like also her uniform changes and
everything.
the basically the supercomputer puts metal plating all over her body, and then she's like, must kill, destroy.
It hacks her.
Yeah,
It takes her.
and I can only assume that this was supposed to be the setup for the whole Brainiac idea that they were going to
that's
go with in
actually
this
what
film.
I was thinking about. I was like, this is what you should have gone with initially, or you should have gone with the split Superman.
Mm-hmm.
They could have combined those two, but that's what I'm
Right.
saying is to where
Because
it's
they basically took the story of Brainiac a little bit, but also the story of Bizarro Superman.
But that's what I was saying is to where it's it's not a full plot for a movie. It's a movie full of minor plots that would have been better in a TV show.
Right. Also, mind you, when you really think about it, all of Superman's villains are fucking retarded.
No, they're really bad.
They're
really
bad and dumb
Yeah.
and over the top, all of them. Which is crazy because arguably DC has the best villains when it comes to Batman's said universe, right? Best villains of all time, right?
Yeah.
But then, you just go over to the pond, one step on the pond, and Superman's got the stupidest villains.
Yeah.
His main arch enemy is just a guy who's super smart.
He's just a guy with no hair.
Yeah, hi, I'm
I'm angry and I have money.
right?
Well, what's the difference between him and Iron Man?
How is that the best villain of all time for Superman? And then his other one is I'm Brainiac, I'm smart computer guy.
who are our biggest villains today?
a huge rich asshole.
Exactly.
I'm turning off. You guys did politics
Yeah,
twice
right.
in a row.
SNL did not represent me in a good light. That's essentially where we're at. Yes. So Superman fights off the whole computer. He's trying to save people and things.
Yeah, the supercomputer version of Vera Yeah, her name's Vera. Blasts Lorelei into a wall, and she's like being held there by like a sparkly disco ball,
right?
Like it looks like just a mace without the chain attached to it. That's like blue, sparkly, glowing, and then I don't even remember what happens to Ross.
The supercomputer kind of does the same thing to Ross, but then Superman shows up, and the Sickum computer. Is exactly what I tried to say.
Tries to do this to Superman too. Please don't make a Superman 2 joke.
No, well, I'm stuck on the fact that I said the Supum computer.
Yeah.
Is like, I could not get supercomputer out. But the supercomputer essentially is like it grabs Superman.
With its wires and stuff.
And starts pulling him in. But Superman is like, I was hiding chemicals up my butt.
Yeah.
And then places a chemical jar next to the supercomputer.
Yeah, how long has he been holding on to that red acid from the beginning of the movie?
It's green acid at the beginning.
Yeah, green acid that, if turned red, will become volatile.
Yeah. It's a normal liquid green, but if it gets hot, if it gets above that like 150 degrees or whatever, it turns into a viscous red.
From?
I don't know, but it worked. And it like blew up the computer because it couldn't recognize it as a threat, because this whole computer was built to recognize threats and destroy them.
Right.
But because this threat was built inside the computer, air quotes, like built inside, it like the whole thing was established without the computers being able to visibly see it, and it destroyed itself because the whole thing eats away at it. But then it blows up.
But the thing is able to assess threats and adapt to them, but still, you're fucking Superman. Just punch it into oblivion.
Laser eyes, idiot.
Like, yeah, same thing, right?
It can't grow mirrors.
I'm like, just smash it into oblivion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just fly right through its super brain, whatever. Like, this is the dumbest thing.
Does not make sense.
And then he like picks up Richard Pryor and flies away with him and drops him off at a coal mine.
Grabs the coal mine, smashes, grabs some coal at the coal mine.
Right.
Smashes the coal mine.
Shoves it up his butt.
It's a joke I made 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
He grabs the coal, squishes it because heat and pressure makes a diamond from coal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, that'll do, pig. And he's like, Richard Pryor. Hey, confusing sentence. You would be stupid if you didn't not hire this man that does or does not do computers. Is like his weird sentence.
At a coal mine.
Yeah. And then
tell your boss
tell your boss you would make a worse mistake for not hiring this guy.
You would do worse to not hire him. see, it's confusing even when we say it. Yeah.
And we basically got like remedial degrees from college. We went, but we didn't pay attention.
Right.
And then
he says you could do worse things than hire Gus.
You could do worse things than
hire Gus Gorman, right?
Which
that is not the way to phrase that.
It's like,
right?
you could do bad, but like doing this is not as
Meanwhile,
bad.
also the two people he tells it to are like lowly, like
they're like, we think we got a computer. I don't know,
half like special.
Yeah,
right. And I was like, well, you got that right. Those coworkers.
Sorry, all coworkers listening. I don't know.
They're not.
Yeah,
they don't get signal in the mines.
He flies back to Metropolis and is like, "Hey, Lana, I know you lost your diamond ring." A point that we were really never like known to be aware of.
Maybe she said it in all that exposition at the dance.
The exposition
I don't know.
was just extra position.
Yeah.
And then he hands her a diamond ring, and it looks like they're getting married. And then that one asshole guy,
her ex-husband walks in and is like, "Wait, you guys are getting married? Bullshit!" And then like, I don't know, he kind of just like
throws him out of the room. And he lands in an elevator.
Yeah.
And it ends.
Yeah,
Thank God.
Clark goes back to Metropolis, and Lois shows back up with a tan, and there's Margot Kidder again, and now Lana Lang has a job at the Daily Planet as well, and then we do like one final slapstick, stupid like there was this whole like side like joke about like the bingo and like Perry White had
Oh
to
my
keep
God.
like drawing bingo balls like for this contest for the paper.
By turning a crank, like a traditional
Right.
bingo thing, like he had to use his hand and it would drop it and then he'd have to pick a ball up. But with this new machine, it sucks the ball up and it just puts it in a holder and you hold it.
Right.
Like normal bingo machines on the news. But
And then
instead,
this,
this one blows
machine
up.
freaks out and blows up, and then everybody's like, ha ha ha, just like you said, like a television episode where
Yeah.
it's like, ha ha ha, freeze, right? And then Superman just like kind of flies around the Earth, like literally the same footage from the last two movies. Like that's how they all end, like same footage. And then the credits happen, and they come at you fast.
Yeah.
Those credits were awesome.
They were okay. So the initial credits of them just like rolling up the screen, it looks normal and it's fun. But then they start like instead they like do like a DJ remix of credits, and then they start like coming towards you like Star Wars beginning intro words, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's the coolest part of the movie.
Literally, the best part of the movie
Yeah.
is the credits, which is so sad to say.
Yeah. And
Favorite credits right here.
Also, yeah,
They
true.
won. This
Yeah.
won.
This won favorite credits. Oh,
This
yay.
is when we should start establishing our
awards?
our anniversary
Yes.
episode of awards.
Yes.
Yes.
This will
And this
do-
one won. This is our first. This is our
it just
prelim
won.
awards. Like
Yeah.
you know, like the award shows, they always do like no one wants to hear about the best sound editing, so
Right.
we announced them previously.
So
this is our first winner.
Well, this is okay. So that's Superman 3. Okay.
Yeah, Superman 3
Um,
done good. Goodbye.
Real quick, so you brought that up. Yes. So this is
'Cause it's
coming
June
out
now.
after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Right. So this will start. This will start what I'm calling cruel summer. It's literally like really deep cuts that we can find,
Yeah.
like hardcore stuff, and it's all leading up to July 15th is our 1-year anniversary. So
Scooby Doo the movie.
okay, like
You
not
didn't pick
decided
it.
yet.
You didn't pick it.
Not decided. But
It's okay. It's okay.
it's not about that. But June 15th. We're going to do kind of an award ceremony, like the best of, like, or the worst of, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to go through, at that point, we should have like 60 some episodes, right? We're going to go through the first 60 some and nominate, and we're going to have people vote on them. Like, so you guys out there who are listening will be able to vote on like worst actor in everything that we've done, worst, and this already won best credit sequence. So
it really is, honestly, too. If you
Yeah.
like, if you ever want to watch like a really good credit sequence, like no one ever does, that one's great.
I'll post a clip.
Yeah, there's not a post credit,
Which
scene,
I
so
am,
sorry.
and I forgot to mention this, guys. Like, our Instagram game is on fire now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
all thanks to Jonathan. Way to go.
you're welcome. Well, basically, I wanted to give people the ability to see as much as the movie as possible, so that literally if you did not download this and listen to it on day one, like by the end of the week that it came out, you pretty much have gotten everything that we talked about.
Yeah.
And then you could listen to it. You know, like I'm basically giving you as much as the movie as I possibly can for free without getting sued. Okay. And so,
Real.
and that's why it's important that if you follow Instagram, our feed will have the like big chunk sections, like minute long stuff, but then the Instagram stories you're going to want to follow too, because they have their own individual little bits and jokes and one-liners. So make sure you follow and get both, and you'll get an entire gist of the films that we're doing the week that they come out. So your W's for this film?
If you're having a superhero 80s marathon, which only exists for this and the sequel,
And Batman.
and Batman,
Like
yeah.
Keaton's first Batman. Yeah.
a DC thing,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But also, like, I will say this on this one, and it's a rarely said thing: you don't have to waste your time.
no. Okay. So that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm going to say skip it.
Yeah.
Skip it, because I did somehow I watched 1, 2, and 4 as a child, and I think television networks and like HBO and stuff skip this. Yeah, I don't ever remember seeing this. You know, this is a movie that also has a cult following in the bad movie show arena.
Yeah.
But somehow that's all I know about this film is other shows doing it. So I'd say skip it unless you really want to like get to the nitty gritty of these jokes that we did. That's it. Who would I recommend this to? Somebody who wants to get every single thing that we referenced in the past 2 hours. That's it. So we really hated this. Like, I really hated it.
Yeah.
But there are some people that can't say the same thing. These people loved it, and I guess we need to give them 5. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first one is from Movie Guy 8100717, dated January 2007. He writes titles, good sequel. Superman 3 is a good sequel. I like the action and the humor. Christopher Reeve is good as Clark Kent / Superman. Annette O'Toole is good as Lana. Robert Vaughn was good as Ross Webster. And I think Richard Pryor does a good comedic performance as Gus Gorman. I think Richard Lester did a good job directing this movie. I also like the other movie directed, Superman 2. I like the sets, writing, cinematography, visual effects, acting, and sound. Every time I watch this movie, I laugh. I wish Superman 4 was as good as Superman 3. I wish Christopher Reeve never died. I'm sorry.
This is literally all of the reviews I picked. It's like, sentence, another sentence. Like, someone that doesn't know how to, like, combine them to make it interesting. It's like, I love the sets. I loved walking around and watching it. Like,
because I don't want to be insensitive. Because, like, literally, we picked this movie because of somebody passing, and I totally forgot that Christopher Reeve passed as well, and we should be celebrating his life as well. So we're not meaning to be insensitive with the rest of this, but like, I didn't mean to laugh, but it came out of left field. Like, I think this. He goes on to finish. I think this movie makes fun of itself because most sequels do. The critics were wrong on this movie. I read somewhere that this was a box office hit. 10 stars.
I read somewhere, but I don't know.
It might have been what I just wrote.
Yeah, I read somewhere, but I didn't actually check it.
Okay, so next one, written by Pale Alexander Squire Phi, dated April 2005, titled "Never Underestimate the Power of Computers." Subtitle: Superman 3. The above comment is what Ross Webster says. I know the power of this very computer that I do these reviews on. But the computer won't do anything I tell it. Unlike that big computer on the film. Also, it seems like he longs for Skynet. Also, sorry, I've lost it. Also, can you get Gus to tell me how to get all the half cents into my wages account as well? I also like that drunk caretaker at the Websco Center when Gus got him drunk. I also like it when Russ says, "Baby, it's Daddy," to the big computer in the cave. I thought that the fight that those two Supermans had in the scrapyard was a lesson to everyone. That is, good will triumph over evil in the end. The film also shows us just how dependent we are on oil and coffee and get us going in the mornings, and for this world to function.
Also,
I wish that Clark Kent would get some better glasses. Maybe he should visit Spec Caves. What?
What?
It says Specs as SPECQ. Yeah, Spec Quavs. I don't know.
That has to be a change.
It's a typo or something. I'm glad we have Superman on this planet. Does he think...
I'm sorry, stupid. No.
I mean, does he think Superman's real and we just haven't gotten to the
Superman
point of
3.
Superman 3 where supercomputers are real too?
Superman 3, the documentary.
I sleep much... Okay, here's the full sentence. I'm glad we have Superman on this planet. I sleep much safer in my bed knowing that he is out there. I also wish that Lex Luthor was banged up in the clink. 10 stars. What?
I'm sorry. That was the best ending I could have hoped for. I didn't fully read that one, and
this person believes that Superman is not only real,
but
keeps him safe, and that he hopes that Superman gets raped in the clink.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, who's also not in this movie. Oh, my God.
You don't need to read any other one, because that was great. That was done. That was it.
You gave us two more, so apparently you thought they were great. So, Bobby Hurd, 29, wrote in July 2002, Best Picture of 1983. This is my favorite Superman movie right here.
Womp.
I love this one a whole lot. I love Richard Pryor a whole lot. He was very funny in that one. I don't remember him being in any other one.
I mostly pick them because they're all stupid. Like, they don't know how to type.
I love the scene where Superman split in two. Like good Clark Kent and bad Superman. Then they end up fighting. And good... Oh, sorry. Excuse me. And good Clark Kent wins against bad Superman. The best part with Richard Pryor was when he flew with Superman at the near end of the movie. That was my favorite rated PG movie of all rated PG movies. My favorite Warner Brothers movie of all Warner Brothers movies. And my best picture of 1983.
I basically just... So the way that I pick these at this point is like, what will sound ridiculous making
coming
Jonathan
out of my
say
mouth?
It? My favorite Warner Brothers movie right now, which everyone's favorite Warner Brothers
try to
should be
read them
Scooby-Doo.
in a bit of a character. Like, I try to, like, read them confidently.
It's all Jonathan character.
Yeah. And the last one, written by ByGal115.
Ooh, you think she's into me?
I think it might be
She
someone
might be
we
into
know.
more of us.
So written 2005, titled Evil Side of Superman You Never Thought You'd See. Warning, spoilers.
/ you don't see him that much.
She writes, I don't know, I've always associated Superman with being good, but in this movie, he turns bad. The transformation to the evil Superman is the most enjoyable as the suit becomes darker and he is unshaven.
What transformation? No, he's not unshaven. What is happening?
He looks cool, and it really shows how good of an actor the late Christopher Reeves was. He had great timing and showed that he can play more than just one role. But it's the same.
It was all one role. Don't.
I don't see why this movie has been slated by many people. I don't see why this movie has been slated by many. People take this movie too seriously and look at it negatively. Maybe these people had a bad childhood or something, as they seem to have a constant chip on their shoulder about this film. It may not be a masterpiece, but it's still very enjoyable film and much better than trash such as Hulk and Spider-Man, the first one, which passes movies nowadays.
Which first one?
She wrote in 2005, so she's talking about Maguire.
Okay. Okay.
Which will pass as movies nowadays when all they are is redoing or exploiting the franchise in order to sell merchandise. Long live Superman. This person seems to forget that, like, Lois Lane, after she sleeps with Superman in the last movie, is wearing a Superman onesie. Like, walking around the Fortress of Solitude in a Superman onesie. Like, merchandising was a thing back then, too. Yeah. So...
She's trying.
Yeah, that's Superman 3.
It's a movie.
I just want to get the Superman 4, honestly. That one's funny. It's Nuclear Man. It's ridiculous. He has, like, Lee press-on nails the whole movie. Yeah.
No, I have to watch it.
Yeah. It's, like... It's pretty darn funny.
Yeah.
And it's made by Goldman, who, Canon Films. So, my favorite. So, that's Superman 3. Sorry we ran long, but sorry but not sorry. Like, whatever. This is free content,
fine.
guys.
It's fun.
Like, I know this whole month has been really long episodes, but, like, we've had a lot to say.
Sorry we're having a fun time with our podcast.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not for you.
It's for us.
But that being said, like I said before, follow us on Instagram. That's where you're going to get like all the clips I possibly like can have the time to do. If you're like, hey, you didn't get to the ending by the end of the week, I'm like, yeah, I know. I like to hold some things for Throwback Thursdays, so fuck off. Or I didn't get around to it. That's the real thing. Okay. That's the real excuse. But that is where you'll get most of the clips, guys, and that's where I recommend that you follow us first. And then I repost all the feed stuff on Twitter and Facebook, and all of those handles are at Bombs Away Show. If you think that we missed something, you can now go to, if you type in Bombs Away's Overnight Dropbox. That is our forum on Facebook where you can discuss the movies that we discussed, or the things that we missed, or your favorite parts, or your favorite jokes that we did, or anything like that. That is a full-fledged, better organized version of a Reddit group, honestly, where you will actually get notifications of the stuff that we're doing. So if you subscribe to Bombs Away's Overnight Dropbox, if you go to Bombs Away's Facebook, our Facebook. Why am I saying it in third person? If you go to the Bombs Away Facebook, you can actually find the Overnight Dropbox in our group section there. And I totally recommend subscribing to that, because you'll be able to get notifications when new episodes come, and you'll be able to get notifications about clips that we post, and you'll just be in the know way more than you used to be.
Yeah.
I guess. You got anything to plug?
No,
nothing. Coming this month, we have awesome things coming up. 2012's Battleship.
I was thinking about that earlier, and I honestly was like, we should do that one. Literally, as I was driving here, so I'm really like, it felt like right now my mind is like on a mental of like, oh my god, that's crazy, because I literally today was like, man, why didn't we ever do that one?
Yep, it's coming up. I wanted to. We've been stuck in an old rut for a little bit, and I wanted to go past 80s, past 90s, and go back into the future. That does weird.
You love that movie series.
I know, right?
Give it up.
So Battleship's coming up, and then after that, we do jump back into the 80s with Jamie Lee Curtis's prom night, so that we're celebrating, the end of school.
Prom.
And then also we're going to be at the New Art Theater for prom night. They're going to show prom night, so we'll be there, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And then after that, we have 2 more movies to finish the month up, and we'll let you know about that on the Shorties, which should be out today, the same day as this. If not, well, it'll actually be out. Yeah, it'll already be out. It'll be like the next thing down on the feed if you're listening to this. If you're somehow still listening to this right now. So the Shorties will tell you all about that, and the special guest we have coming up, which will be Movies Made Me with Mouse Hunt. And then to finish it up, Barbarella will finally be coming like it was supposed to for this episode. So that is our month of June. And then our contest, like we mentioned, Cruel Summer, where you can vote on things that we did, and we'll have to relive them and rehash them again.
Right.
So, and just a special, anniversary episode. So that's it.
It'll be good.
Yeah, we might have some special guests. We might have some past guests that come back just to celebrate some things. Thank you to the past guests. It's on the Shorties.
Episode.
It's on the Shorties. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Clark Kent.
Oh, wow. I didn't see there.
Sorry, I'm Superman. I forgot what identity it was right now.
Yeah, right. Well, you didn't take your glasses off.
Oh, shit. I still have them on.
Right. Oh, man. Well, anyway, we'll see you next time. I don't remember anything for this movie.
Boo! Video game noise. I don't know. Atari noises?
Game
Pac-Man
over.
Noises. Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey everyone, this is Jarrett with Bombs Away Podcast. I'm here at the Frida Cinema, once again recording for your all's pleasure. Frida Cinema. That sounds pretty familiar. Oh yeah, it's because we bring it up so much. It's where we live. It's where we record. Now, you may know of the Frida Cinema, but you may not know enough about the Frida Cinema. So the Frida Cinema is a program of the Long Beach Cinematique, and it's located in Santa Ana in Southern California. It services neighboring communities as a nonprofit art house cinema dedicated to educating, connecting, and enriching communities through the art of cinema, which is a pretty amazing experience. But how do they do that? Well, one of the ways they do that is with shadow casting. So shadow casting, if you don't know, is whenever they have a cast below the screen acting out the movie as the film is projected behind them, which is pretty neat. But that's not all. They also get audience participation, so you feel like you're part of the film, that you have that amazing enriching experience. Some of the films that we do shadow cast with are Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Repo the Genetic Opera, and The Forbidden Zone. When was the last time you heard of The Forbidden Zone? Am I right, ladies? Other things that we do, if you're not into Shadowcast, but you love that audience participation, are special events. We've done Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and it was a lights and sound spectacular, and there were also words along the bottom of the screen that helped you know when to participate in the film. And maybe you just want to watch a film, which is okay, because the Frida Cinema does show films, but maybe you want to watch a film in a different atmosphere. Well, the Frida Cinema has rooftop showings. Some of the films that have shown on our rooftop are the most recent Beauty and the Beast, or Ghostbusters, and Jurassic Park. One of the cool things that happened with Ghostbusters and Jurassic Park is we actually had guests. For instance, Jurassic Park had the guest of the Jeep Wrangler, you know, that nice tan and red Jeep that we see just driving all around that park. It's an amazing photo opportunity, and it's something you get to brag about to your friends and post on that Instagram. If you want more information about the showtimes, location, and everything film and entertainment related to the Frida Cinema, just go to www.thefridacinema.org. You can also follow on Facebook at facebook.com/thefridacinema, and on Instagram and Twitter at thefridacinema. The Frida Cinema, for the filmmakers, the film goers, and for you.
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?